Okay. We're back. I think we're back. I think everything is fine. I don't know. I hope it's okay. If you're in chat, can you let me know if everything sounds fine now? I've never had so many audio issues in one go or in such a short period of time. It's actually kind of unbelievable. But I think it's fine. I was just testing it. It seems like it's okay. Okay. Thank God. Uh, uh. Okay. I'm gonna grab a drink. Or another one. Maybe I should get a fucking alcoholic one, even though I don't drink. My God, I could use it at this point. I open the game up. I'm gonna do one test to see for the crackling audio, see if it fixes, or if it's fixed. I mean, the crackling audio will not, almost certainly. Just let me know if my voice fucks up or anything while I'm in the middle of doing all this. It shouldn't, but Lord knows I've had my fair share. Yeah, it's already crackling. I'll just put it back to this. You guys can't hear it, but okay. I'll grab a drink and we'll start from the top because I didn't realize. Thank God I checked. I was like, oh, maybe I should check my audio settings. Maybe things are fucked up because I was messing with audio settings today. I had to restart my mixer. I don't know why that happened, but hopefully everything sounds fine. It should. I don't know why I wouldn't, but I'll be right back. I'll give the little spiel I did, which I guess I sounded like a fucking robot the last time, so it made no sense. Yeah. Let me grab a drink. I'll be like 30 seconds. Okay. First things first. Is my voice okay? I think it should be. Let me open up my Twitch on my other stream or on my other monitor. Unfortunately, you will hear this when I check this because my settings are not set up properly. Well, I can't set them up properly for everything. Okay, perfect. Everything is great. Oh my God. So I'll give the rundown now because I guess I was a robot the last time I did it. I spent most of yesterday trying to fix the audio issues, and I spent most of the afternoon today trying to fix it. The audio issues being client side. You guys didn't hear it on the stream because it doesn't come through. But I was having this crackling and popping in my audio. I swear to God, I have never troubleshooted something more than I troubleshooted that audio fix. I have no fucking clue. I literally did everything that I possibly know how to fix, and nothing fixed it. So that was a thing. You just heard what was happening to my mic. I guess that is lost to the sands of time for people watching the VOD, but I don't know. It sounded like I don't even know what to describe. It sounded like a robot. But I did so many things. I re-encoded like every sound file that this game has into a different audio format and tried to boot the game with different audio format. Nothing happened. I don't know. I don't even want to get into it. It's like frustrating even to think about. Basically, I did a lot of shit. And it did not fix it. It seems like whatever the crackling and popping issue that's happening is strictly with Umineko project version, that is, because I actually installed the answer arcs on Steam to see if it was different on there, and it was actually totally fine through that, but again, maybe later we'll talk about it, but we can reread this small 5-minute section, I suppose, that I missed. The plan is going to be to read through the Tea Party. We'll do a little bit of theorizing. I don't know how long that will take. Probably not ultra long because it's going to be kind of slotting the pieces together. But, yeah. Just, give me a little bit of a thumbs up or a thumbs down if something, or let me know if something weird with the audio starts to happen. It should be fine, but just in case, because now I'm like paranoid of something happening. Alas, we will start, we will read, we will get through the Tea Party, we will do some theorizing, and we will figure everything out, hopefully. Okay. When I came to, all was silent, and I didn't click into the game. The lights were dim, and yet the room felt large. Where on earth is this? I was sitting in what seemed to be a very small single sofa. It was very constricting, and there seemed to be several more of them off to each side of me. Once I noticed that, I realized that I was in a theater. Where on earth am I? I don't know how long I've been here, and more importantly, I don't know where this is. Beatrice's funeral ended, everyone went back to the mansion, and... after that, my memory gets fuzzy and I can't recall anything else. Then I was surprised to notice the presence of another person. Apparently I wasn't the only one sitting in the audience seating of this vast theater. The sound had come from a seat to the side of mine. When I looked, I saw a girl sitting several seats off to my left. It was a face I had never seen before. I wondered who she was. She looked like a high schooler or a college student, about the same age as I was. She groaned. Apparently she had just woken up. I didn't want to scare her, so I decided to introduce myself first. Hello. Apparently she was equally surprised to find someone other than herself here. She jumped when she heard my greeting. Who on earth are you? I feel the same way. It seems that neither of us is here of our own accord. Is that the one-winged crest? Huh? Do you recognize this crest? He looked suspiciously at the one-winged crest emblazoned on my collar. Her stare, which was unmoving but not openly hostile, wasn't exactly pleasant for me. Allow me to introduce myself first. I am Ushirimiya Leon. Ushirimiya... Huh? What? Leon. Written as that, but pronounced Leon. Pretty strange name, don't you think? No stranger than mine, but I'll have to apologize. I don't know who you are. That's hardly surprising, since I don't know you either. That's not what I meant. Who are you? There's no one like you in the Ushirimiya family. And why are you so sure? Do you have something to do with my family? I'm a member of the Ushirimiya family. But that's... She showed me her left sleeve and the crest of the one-winged eagle emblazoned upon it. I regret having to ask the same question, but who are you? I've never seen you in the Ushirimiya family. First they tear me into little bits, then they make me read. What's next? What witch am I supposed to be entertaining this time? She spat out those words and seemed to be complaining about something. Angie. I'm Ushirimiya Angie. Rudolph and Kiri's daughter. What? Angie? But you're supposed to be 6 years old. I was 6 during the year of the final family conference on Rokenjima. Now I get it. So you're from the year 1986. I'm 18, and I'm from the year 1998. In other words, you're the Angie of 12 years in the future. I'm glad you can wrap your head around it, but unfortunately, I don't have a clue who you are. Who are you? Who are your parents? My father is Kraus. Natsuhi is my mother. That would make you Jessica. Jessica is my little sister. What's going on? Wasn't Jessica an only child? Also, I gave a whole blurb at the start too, but of course it got robot chomped that, I still don't know the whole... I have like a problem in my head that I'll probably save for the theory section, unless it brings it up somewhere in this, but, I'm just having a hard time squaring the whole Yasu Shannon thing. Not so much that I, like, disagree with it, like, I think it's right, but I'm just trying to figure out in my head whether or not like Canon and Shannon are like faux personalities for Yasu, or if Yasu actually embodies those personalities at different times in the story. It would seem like Yasu embodies Shannon most of the time. The only thing that starts to get weird about this is I feel like if Yasu is Shannon, it starts I don't I was talking about this last night with Alan, that I feel like there is a problem with one of the red statements that was given way earlier, that something about how like Beatrice isn't doing this for revenge or isn't doing it for pleasure. I don't really see how, regardless of whether this person, if Yasu is literally just Shannon, or if Shannon is like a stand-in for Yasu in the same way that Beatrice, like in the silk dress, was a stand-in prior. To me, I just find it hard to believe that it wouldn't have been done for revenge, or pleasure, or anything in between. It feels like it's pretty obvious if you could say it's trying to like send a message, but the message was to, I don't know. It feels like revenge a little bit to me, so I don't really know how that red statement gets squared, but we'll see how that goes. Regardless, my point being that I'm not entirely sure about... I mentioned at the end of the last stream, I don't know how much I got into it, I kind of forget, because of this audio troubleshooting has been fucking with my brain, but I don't know how much of the Shannon and Canon are like faux identities that are written into the story if we were to view Yasu as like the storyteller and like the author that's telling us this story. I feel like Yasu has to be Shannon and has to be like engaged to George for a lot of the rest of the thing to make sense. Otherwise, I don't really see how Battler returning would matter too much. The only thing I guess you could kind of view it as, I don't want to say as like split personalities, but you could view it as like different people like trapped in the same body if you want to view it. I mean, I guess you could just say that split personalities. It's kind of it's close enough to being analogous that it doesn't really matter. But yeah, I don't know. My only thing that I will stand 100% firm on, that I will make a strong claim about this. I do think that whatever Yasu looks like, I think that Yasu probably looks like human Beatrice that we saw in episode 2 and in episode 4. I think that's what their real identity looks like, because I think that's the only way in my head that I can square the whole human Beatrice talking point. It becomes weird to me, especially in episode 2, when you have the scenes of human Beatrice talking to Shannon. I guess you could view it as, like a magical interpretation or as like an embellishment, because in reality that's just the same people. I'm pretty sure it was only Shannon and Canon that ever talked to human Beatrice in episode 2, for instance. So I guess that would make sense, but besides the point, I don't want to wait too long. I don't know how long this tea party will take. Apparently it's quite long, so we'll keep shipping away. We'll get more into the identity, whether they literally exist, whether they're just persona, whether they're personalities, whatever word you want to use for it. We'll get into that later, but I just wanted to say that because I did say that earlier. Well, I should say it like a few minutes ago, however long ago it was, but the audio was all garbled, regardless. By this point, I was starting to figure out the situation this Angie had come from. She's probably from the world where I awakened as a witch, the world where Leon doesn't exist. It will be a bit difficult to explain, but think of it this way. In a world slightly different from the one you know, I am also a member of the Ushirimiya family. In your world, a different fate leads me to walk a different path through life, so that I do not live as an Ushirimiya family member. Are you a witch? Sorry to disappoint you, but I'm just an ordinary human. What I just told you is something I heard from the witch called Burncastle. Burncastle? That one with the long blue hair and the gloomy face. Yes, that probably describes her, I think. In other words, I'm being forced to play along with another witch's farce. Just where is this place? I only woke up a second ago myself. I wonder where this is. It looks like a theater. Are we supposed to watch a play or something? I'm really not in the mood now. Let's look for an exit. You haven't noticed yet. Look. Huh? These are... I also freaked the fuck out when I saw the chain animation, but, all these cool moments lost to audio issues. Clank. I finally noticed. Both of my wrists and ankles had chains attached to them. How did you... I can maybe understand not noticing your ankles, but not noticing your wrists I think is a little bit odd. As long as I sat here, I had enough slack that I could move about a little, but it looked like there wouldn't be nearly enough for me to get out of this place. Who would do something like this? Once a witch has made you her piece, you'll be their plaything forever. There's no way to escape. Okay, that's, I don't know how those things get through. Usually they get destroyed. Angie crossed her legs, making the chains clank together. She must realize that no amount of struggling will break these chains. That getting panicky won't accomplish anything. She seemed to have nerves of steel. What do you mean, a witch's piece? It's like being their slave. I made a deal once. I said I wanted to see my family, to bring them back from that day. In exchange for making that a possibility, that witch turned me into a witch's piece. At least the witch kept her promise. I was able to see Oni-chan again. You mean Battler? Well, I wasn't even able to tell him who I was. In exchange for that short bit of time, I'm now trapped inside the witch's toy box for all eternity. Looks like you are too. What bargain did you make? I didn't. You never asked the witch for anything. Never. She taught me what a miracle my existence is, that's all. Either way, neither of us is getting out of here. Okay, witches. What kind of show do you have for us this time? Have we moved from reading aloud to theater going? Am I supposed to watch someone else read aloud this time, or what? If that's it, then start it up. I'm bored enough as it is. Angie yelled this to the pitch-black stage. Her voice reverberated throughout the theater, but no one gave an answer. No, someone did. And that was also in a voice that rang out across the theater. However, that voice sounded theatrical, as though someone was announcing the start of a play. What happened on that day, you ask? I'm not telling. Why don't you just give up and die? That sounds like Erika. Wasn't that her thing? No, that was Ava's. That was, Ova's, the give up and die. Was that the voice of that old hag? It was Aunt Ava's voice. What does she mean by what happened on that day? She's talking about the 4th and 5th of October in the year 1986, the day of the final family conference on Rokenjima. In other words, today. Today is October 4th, 1986. As a prelude to the family conference, Beatrice's funeral was held. That's a surprise. So you've come here from October 4th, 1986. Tell me, what happened during those 2 days? The answer she seeks is inside the cat box. Either I can tell her nothing except that there was a tragic misunderstanding of the heart, or even I, sorry, not either. However, I doubt that explanation will satisfy her. Then, a pillar of bright light pierced the stage. Oh, Claire's back. We watched you die, I don't know how you're back, but there stood a figure in white. That figure, clothed in a white dress, was obviously Claire. Of course, Angie didn't recognize her. She looked suspicious, apparently wondering who in the world this was. Did I read that right? Oh, I did apparently. However, even I felt as though something was wrong. Didn't she settle all of her regrets in that funeral a short while ago before being sent off into the next world? She stood all alone in the narrow beam of light in the center of the stage, and the expression on her face was lifeless. The light began to grow brighter and brighter. It shone more and more fiercely on her until it became blinding just to look at her. I feel bad for people that watch this shit in like when it's really dark or something, you just get totally flashbanged. The world was enveloped by a light so bright that we couldn't keep our eyes open, enveloped by a sound like wind or television static, and our minds began to go blank. Ooh. Is this whole tea party gonna be the game of episode 7? It's funny, I think Will had mentioned it and I had said it too, that I was surprised that Burnt Castle wasn't more cruel. And I think we might finally be getting that. Sorry, I'm gonna check the audio again. I think we might finally be getting that. Sorry. Okay, so everything is fine. Sorry, I'm like very paranoid about the audio being fucked up. Whew. They're blooming wonderfully again this year. It must be a pain to take care of all these. Pretty easy for us though, just looking at them. Hee. I agree. We've got to thank the people who take care of them for us. But it is a bit lacking in grace. I prefer the way it used to be, before Nissan decided to meddle with it. The old ones did have their charm, didn't they? Ugh. I love roses. I'd like them even more if they didn't have thorns. Ugh. Whoa. Now I remember this old garden. I'd totally forgotten about it these past 6 years. It's been a long time for you. Both you and this garden have changed so much. Let me introduce you. This is Cannon, one of our servants. This is the first time you've met Battler, right? Pleased to meet you. You can just call me Battler. Nice to meet you. Shannon's here too today. Remember when we used to play together? Oh, Shannon. I'd totally forgotten. That really takes me back. That's not a good thing to say there, man. I'd totally forgotten. How's she been doing? She's blossomed into a beautiful young lady over the last 6 years. You should say hi to her later on. Shannon and George are really good friends. Ugh. Maria, shh. That's a secret. If you would, everyone, allow me to guide you to the guest house. After enjoying the lovely welcome provided by the Rose, the relatives followed Goda in the direction of the guest house. October 4th, 1986. Rokenjima, a world without Leon. The day of the Ushirimiya family's family conference. Ooh, that's such a... The double word fucks me up every time. The day of the Ushirimiya family's family conference. You could just say the family conference. It would have conveyed the same info. It's okay. The mysterious letter that Maria read aloud after dinner, just as she had been told to. Sorry, am I slow? Like, some of these are not... The mysterious letter that Maria read aloud after dinner, just as she had been told to. The writer of the letter claimed to be the Golden Witch Beatrice and challenged the family. Solve the riddle of the epitaph, otherwise I will take everything. It was a letter that declared the start of Beatrice's game, just as it had appeared in so many games before. Had an unknown person appeared to complicate the inheritance problem? Where was the 20 billion yen's worth of gold hidden? What was the purpose of this letter? For what goal had it been written? Who on earth was this Beatrice? Sorry, the hiccups. It was that tangled web of suspicion and paranoia that had been a constant in every game. The dinner of October 4th. George, I'm sorry, but could you take the others and go back to the guest house? My apologies. Shannon, take the children to the guest house. We will move straight on to the family conference. Yes, as you wish. Beatrice the Golden Witch. What a fascinating letter you've sent us. She's telling us to solve the epitaph? Ridiculous. That gold belongs to us. Why would we ever give it up to some outsider? If we could just find that gold, we'd all be happy. No one have to lose anything. Let's go, everyone. Looks like it'll be adult time from here on out. Give me a break. Sounds like things are gonna get complicated. Come on, Maria. Let's go. Beato's ritual has begun. Okay, everyone. I shall guide you to the guest house. What's all this about? Probably a replay of one of those old games, or else an entirely new game. In all the games, October 4th happens in pretty much the same way. A new game? You mean a tale that hasn't appeared in any of the fragments so far? There's no way they'd go to the trouble of chaining us down if they just wanted to show us a game we already know. We should probably assume it's a new game. That means there should be a game master. Who is it? That witch? Burncastle? I can't imagine so. Claire should have vanished already. There should be no need to spin us a new tale. Beato's game board was hijacked by those evil witches long ago. Even Beato is nothing more than a piece in their games. Just who is behind this, and what are they after? What do they want to show us? Before this tale began, Claire definitely appeared on the stage. She is me from a world of a different fate, and the teller of the tale that is Beatrice's game. However, didn't she entrust everything to Will and have all of her riddles solved? There should be no need for her to make new riddles. In that case, is Burncastle using this tale to test me? Along with Will, I have at least touched the deepest depths of this tale, and understood the culprit's heart, so even if an entirely new tale presents itself, I should be able to see through the riddles. Is that what my role is? Is my role to teach Angie about the truth of this tale? Do you know the truth of this tale? I have several theories. Still, none of those can give a conclusive answer. The truth is always inside the cat box. I can't say anything for sure. In this world, Angie is absent on this day, so it's only natural that she doesn't know what happened. However, at the very least, I do know who the culprit is, and what they were trying to do. Yes, I think I've finally understood my role in this. What do you mean? Apparently you're here as a theater goer and I'm here to explain things. And what are you supposed to be explaining? I know who's behind the crime that's about to occur. What did you say? And then this is like the flash to say that Leon has told them everything. Thinking about this normally, the only explanation I see is that someone's trying to make us solve the epitaph, aiming to grab the gold for themselves. I agree. If they've already solved it, they could just take it. There'd be no need to challenge us to solve the riddle. It's a prank by one of the servants. They're hoping to pick up the scraps from the celebration if the gold is found. I cannot imagine that any of our servants would do such a thing. Or maybe one of us sent the letter pretending to be a servant. If that's it, you're the most suspicious one. You schooled Maria on her part and made her read the letter, didn't you? I wouldn't do that. Give that a rest, Ava. We can't jump to conclusions. Isn't this the time for us to all stick together? That's right. The aim of this strange letter is probably to disrupt our unity. The more we let it affect us, the more things will go the way of this Beatrice who sent it. Kiri's right. Wouldn't it be best to simply ignore a letter like that from the start? That is what I have been saying this whole time. This sort of prank is not worth considering. Yes, that's exactly. I can't read, that's it exactly. If a couple improbable claims for damages get you flustered, you'll never be able to sell anything. My husband's right. This is a child's prank, and taking it seriously is just a waste of time. If someone really wanted to shake up the inheritance issue, they'd come forward boldly instead of using something this roundabout. You got it right there. Someone probably wants to make us think there's another person trying to make demands about the inheritance when their real goal is just to pick up the scraps. I wonder if they'll ask for some hush money in exchange for staying out of the inheritance issue. If that were the case, they would have written it into the letter already. And the letter is just a challenge, telling us to solve the epitaph or have everything taken from us. The culprit is trying to make us solve the epitaph's riddle. Nothing more, nothing less. So it's simple. If we let this letter scare us, we lose. Yes, I agree. After that big mysterious show, like something out of a mystery novel, we've all gotten carried away. It shows how tense we all are. But who did it? Such an aggravating thing to do. If it wasn't a servant, then one of us must have written it. I'm not naming names, of course. Stop it. I really know nothing about this. Settle down. Anyway, what this letter says does make a bit of sense. All of us need money, and if possible, we need it right away. No one here has any objections to that, right? Of course not. Who'd object to money or love? We don't know when Father's inheritance will come to us. However, the gold of the epitaph is different. If we find it, we could just split it and then and there. In a sense, it's even closer to us now than the inheritance is, assuming we can solve the epitaph. Everyone here has made their own attempt at the riddle, yes? Kiri asked the room at large, and everyone wordlessly nodded back. We have a whole 4 people here who inherit the blood of the one who made the riddle, yet we're all tackling it individually. That doesn't sound very efficient, does it? True. We've all been greedy and tried to go it alone. However, we've already reached a decision about how we'll split the gold up if it's found, and about acknowledging Aniki as the successor. Though you demanded quite a lot in exchange. I wonder if we can solve that epitaph if we pool our efforts and work together. 2 heads are better than 1, and here we have 7. Today we reached a general agreement about the inheritance problem. Why not take a shot at the epitaph for a bit of fun on the side? Nice idea. Let's give it a try and call it a break. Ridiculous. There is no. Take it easy. Just think of it as a game. Let's have Goda bring us something cool to drink. We can take a break and all play with riddles as a big happy bunch of siblings for once. Well, the night is long. It would be at least more productive than pointless inquiries regarding Father's health. I'll ring up Goda. He can bring us something. Some tea, snacks, and... Oh, could you also ask him for a map of Taiwan? That's a very particular thing to ask for. Obviously we know why, but funny that Ava, even in this, has like totally figured that out. 2 figures could be seen in the Rose Garden Arbor. It was George and Shannon's secret meeting. Glasses on, if I can grab them here. I don't know where they are. I saw them. Oh, there they are, yeah. They were right here. Ooh. I want you to take this ring. George. I swear to love you all my life. Not just while we're young. I swear to love you and keep you happy until we grow old and go to our graves. Are there any lies in your words? None. Nope, none, sorry. I'm confident in my resolve to love you and build a happy household together with you. And what would this happy household be like? Well, it'll be full of happiness. We'll have a house with a car and a garden. And one dog. The garden will be a vegetable garden. The kids will run around and we'll smile down on them from the balcony. That's what our typical future Sunday will look like. That would be wonderful. What? Those two are a couple. Shh. Why are you so damn loud? Maria'll wake up. Oh, right. So that's how it is, huh? Now that you mention it, they seem to have a pretty good mood going on there. That's right, we're all about the age where you fall in love. We've changed a lot in the last 6 years. George used to be a bit unreliable, but he isn't anymore. That's what I thought. George has got one of those air of dignity things around him. But still, Shannon and George. It's a bit unexpected. They played together often enough 6 years ago, but I didn't think they were that close. Well, 6 years is a long time. The last 6 years have been huge for all of us. Yep. Honestly, so much happened to me over the past 6 years that I pretty much forgot about Rokenjima. Yeah, and I almost totally forgot about you as well. Now that really hurts. Talking together like this, it felt as though we'd been transported 6 years into the past. Those 6 years were so long that I forgot almost everything. And yet, it's coming back to me bit by bit. Shannon. 6 years ago you were part of our group and we played together a lot, didn't we? Back then, I think I might have liked Shannon. That was the age when we were all overly self-conscious, in love with love. I recalled bittersweet memories of jokes involving melodramatic flippant words. That takes me back. I think I remember saying all kinds of stuff that I'd be way too embarrassed to say now. Just remembering it is making my face go red. Shannon might be a scatterbrain, but her memory is incredible. Guess I'll just have to ask her all about your dark, embarrassing history. Quit it. That was 6 years ago, so give me a break. I see. So Shannon is going out with George. What am I thinking? Could this be jealousy? I didn't really think about it until now, but that thing Shannon and I had back then, that was probably my first love. Well, it's not like I have any right to be jealous after forgetting the whole thing until we meet again. Until we met again. I think that said not meet, because I can't fucking read today for some reason. I want to see. Make sure, did I fucking misread that? I did. Oh my god. Tragic, embarrassing, make fun of me. Everyone knows that Dad's old home was Taisho in Taiwan. Father still chews areca nuts from time to time in memory of Taiwan. Apparently he got hooked on that instead of smoking when he was young. But there must have been countless rivers where the sweet fish... Why can I not fucking read today? Holy shit. But there must have been countless rivers there with sweet fish swimming in them. There's an endless number of streams that are famous sweet fish fishing spots. You could probably have found sweet fish living in every body of clear water. We're completely stuck. Could it be some nearby creek that Father used to play in as a kid? He said sweet fish, but maybe we're looking for something more like carp. Or it could be some sort of metaphor. The river isn't necessarily a river with water flowing through it. What do you mean by that? Well now, who knows? Kiri has a point there. Isn't it a bit too early to be sure that Taiwan is this home of old, or that this Sweetfish River is a river with water flowing down it? If we look at it that way, we're just stuck again. The more you think about this puzzle, the harder it seems. That's it. This is just a silly puzzle. Kiri is right. We need to be flexible in our thinking. If we're looking for a river near Taisho, that would have to be Tamsui River. Are you even listening? We just said that it might not be the kind of river with water flowing down it. Is there any proof that that river is a Sweetfish River? You're right, I'm sorry. Well, it probably did have sweet fish in it. I mean, it's literally called a freshwater river. It makes sense that a freshwater fish like sweetfish would be swimming in it. Sweetfish are freshwater fish, so a sweetfish river would be a freshwater river. Is that how we get Tamsui River? Huh, quite the word game. Now that's an interesting theory. Let's advance our reasoning a bit further. As you travel down the river, you will see a village. What's the name of the town at the mouth of Tamsui River? It says Tamsui here. I went sightseeing in Tamsui. It was a calm and gentle harbor town. Beautiful sunsets. In that village did you find the shore the two speak of? Not really. It doesn't ring any bells. I guess the beloved home of old doesn't refer to Taiwan. It might be Odawara after all. If we can't discount any possibilities, then we won't get anywhere. We can't even get past the first line of the epitaph. Quiet, you're distracting me. It has to be Taiwan. Father wouldn't describe any other place as beloved. It is one thing we can agree upon. To this very day, Taiwan is the homeland of Father's heart. It's probably best if we don't spend too much time on the first line. I'm gonna take a look at the other lines. Just a quick peek, starting at the first twilight. Me too. I'll leave the Sweetfish River to you, Umineko, and have a go at the second half. On the first twilight, sacrifice the 6 chosen by the key. How mysterious. I've got it. Ava suddenly muttered. All of the others spun around to look at her. Ava flipped through the pages about Taiwan with incredible force, then found the page she was looking for and slammed the book open so hard that it almost tore. This whole time they'd been looking at pages with place names. As far as the overall mass of information went, those had seemed the most useful pages to start from. However, the page that Ava opened to was very limited in the scope of its information. It was a map of railway lines. As you travel down it, you will see a village. A village. There it is, the village. What are you talking about, Ava? Explain yourself. Quiet. There's a shore too, and a mouth for speak. I'm not sure what it means by the two, but there definitely is a village and a shore and a mouth. This is it. This is definitely the village where the key to the gold sleeps. Calm down. Explain it so we can understand too. The Tom Sui Line? I see. So the Sweetfish River was actually a railway called the Tom Sui Line. Well, I doubt there are any sweet fish swimming there. Look, if we follow the Tom Sui Line down, there's a station that used to be known as Kirigan. Look at the characters it's written with. There's a village, a mouth, and a shore. She's right. There's a village, a mouth, and a shore. As you travel down it, you will see a village. True, that's the only station on the Tom Sui Line that has the character for village in its name. I see. It's like a code pointing towards this station's name. This has to be it. There's no doubt. We just need to look a bit further, then we'll definitely find out what the two speak of means. Look! This is it! This is it! This town near the station is also called Kirigan, but with a mouth in the second character. That makes a total of 2 mouths in Kirigan. Is that the two speak? Incredible, Nason. This has to be it. Does this mean that the key is hidden somewhere in this town of Kirigan? I wonder. Then the whole riddle so far has been a word game. If so, isn't it likely that the sleeping key is also a word game? I agree. On the first twilight, the key selects 6 sacrifices, right? So it's hard to imagine that it's actually something key-shaped. Whew! This is getting damn interesting. Sacrifice the 6 chosen by the key. Let's think of a key that's somehow related to this. And let's break down this name, Kirigan. I'm absolutely sure that this is a word game. It has to be. Think, everyone. Interesting. I mean, we already knew all this, but it's kind of funny to see them all work together. I don't know how Ava would do all, like, the legwork and then not end up demanding, like, all of the gold, because, man, that's what I would do if I was the one that was in there and I was doing all that shit. Sorry, checking the audio real quick. If I was the one that was in there. Okay, yeah. I think if I was the one that was doing all that shit, man, I would be... I'd be like, look, you gotta give me, like, a finder's fee here. It's funny, isn't it? If I were alone, this kind of rain would get me down, but it feels nice and cool when you're by my side. It's about time for us to head back. I'm keeping Cannon waiting. You're right. And I've probably kept Jessica and Battler waiting. It brings back good memories. Remember when the 4 of us used to play together? It was a lot of fun back then, too. To me, it's a lot more fun now, because I get you all to myself. Hee 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 hee. Oh, George. They laughed at George's melodramatic line. However, George's laugh seemed just slightly forced. George. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, I guess I still have a bit of a complex about Battler. A complex. Like Uncle Rudolph, he's lively, interesting, and just full of energy. He's a much more charming person than I am. I can tell how much he outshines me when we're together. Yeah, no kidding, bro, you're fucking boring. That's not true. You're an accomplished and charming man. You aren't inferior to Battler in any way. Really? Yes, really. The truth is, when I heard that Battler would be coming back this year, I felt unhappy about it at first. Yeah, I know, that's what I'm saying, bro. George, we do not care. We do not care. Get Mike Tomlin out here. Why? 6 years ago, Balor was the one who was really close to you. I wanted to get closer to you, but I couldn't manage to get between the two of you. You two just looked made for each other, and all I could do was watch so longingly, or watch on longingly. Is that how you remember it? I don't really think we were made for each other. It was just Balor teasing me. You two were the perfect couple. There's no doubt about it. I was sure that you two were going out. Says the guy that's like 5 years older than the rest of them, or 6 years older than the rest of them. He's like, man, I really just needed that fucking 12-year-old's attention, or however old she would have been. That never happened. You're thinking too much. I really am pathetic. Yeah, you are. At least you know it. I was afraid that I'd hand you this ring today and you'd refuse. Why is that? Why would I refuse, or why should I refuse your ring, George? Because Balor came back. I was afraid that deep down you might still like Balor, and that now that he was here you wouldn't have any use for me.
You're right. I hate you, George.
George, please look at this. Do you see this silver glint on my ring finger? What do you think it is? You're right. Sorry. What's got me so shaken, I wonder? I'm probably feeling jealous at the fact that he's cooler than ever 6 years later. How pathetic. No, it's okay. Those feelings are a sign that your love for me is so strong. You don't want to give me up to anyone. Holy fuck, I can't read today, guys. I'm so sorry. I don't know what's going on. If you're worried about my feelings switching to Balor, please love me so strongly that the thought never enters my mind. Love me so much that I don't have time to think about any other man. I'm scared too. I'm sure you'll meet many women in the future who have much more attractive qualities than I do. Or I might not meet your expectations and you might tire of me. It scares me to think that I might not be able to keep you to myself for the rest of our lives. There's no need for you to be scared of that. I swear to uphold my love for you as long as I live. And I swore the same thing, but you stopped taking my word for it when Balor came back. You did kind of just get mogged there, little bro. He did kind of just get... That was like a mate in two right there. As Shannon giggled, George finally realized that his own lack of confidence had hurt her. I've won the heart of a wonderful man named Ushirmiya George. Okay, well, you could drop wonderful and probably also man too, but... And he has sworn to love me all his life and given me a ring as a sign of this oath. With this ring here on my ring finger, I'm going to be honest with you. Sure. Yes, as you said, I did like Balor 6 years ago. I think I probably liked him more than you. However, that was 6 years ago. Now things are different. In these 6 years, I've sorted out my feelings for Balor and put them in the past along with the memories. Now I exist only to love you. George is definitely the type of guy who's about to have like an incel rage. How could you ever like anyone in the past? How could you ever? How could you do this to me? Shannon spoke clearly and strongly. George gave a single, uncertain laugh. It was probably the same sort the George of 6 years ago had made. Then he straightened up his back and hugged Shannon without saying a word. In that moment, he parted ways with the person he had been 6 years ago. He just left her there. He said, bye. How are we getting like a fucking chapter mark in this? Excuse me? I've got the ladder. Here we go. Quadrillion. This is the only place you'll find that number written on this island. 1/10 of a K. Who'd have thought it? If our idea is right, then the letters of that relief should be the mechanism. We just need to check. Who's going up? I'll go. Hold that ladder steady, okay? Be careful. It is fairly high. Rudolph climbed up the propped-up ladder, step by step as the rain poured down on him. Look at the queue. See anything? Does it look like there's anything to it? There's a bit of play. Crap. What is it? Did something happen? Bingo. Take a look at this. Rudolph tossed the cue down. It hit Kraus on the shoulder and landed in a puddle. This is a key. What does it mean? Rudolph, can you take out the other letters too? Yeah, looks like it. Guess our crazy theories were on the right track after all. What's the next letter to take out? I. And then L. Following her instructions, Rudolph removed the 6 letters of the first twilight. Now that they'd gotten this far, nothing stood in the way of them solving the riddle. By trial and error, they finally reached this final stage. It says to gouge starting from the head, which must mean going from left to right. Rudolph, starting from the left, turn the keys before taking them out. Got it. Now we've massacred all the letters, so none are left alive on the ninth twilight. So, did something happen? It felt like something clicked, but nothing's different. Maybe a hidden door or something opened up somewhere. Hey, look at that. It moved, I'm sure it did. Everyone, look. Lion statue's facing the other way. What is going on? Is there some secret inside the lion statue? That's not it. It's probably telling us to look where the lion's pointing. See? Look that way. The lion's facing, or that lion's facing a different way too. What does it mean? It's guiding us, stupid. We have to go in the direction the lion's face. Dude, stop being mean to Rosa, okay? Chill. Ava, I know you're like the smarty pants here, but let's chill out. Ava dashed ahead. The others all chased after her. The gold was right in front of them. That's what I'm saying, man. Free Rosa. Poor girl. I like Rosa. I don't know why I do. Maybe because she, gives them a little 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. A little jab, hook, cross. Now this is a surprise. Who would have thought that a hidden stairway like this existed? It makes sense now. Father didn't like people going near the chapel. I wonder how long that mechanism has been there. Judging by the feel of this underground passage, probably for quite a long time. I imagine it was nearly the same time that the mansion itself was built. The riddle of the epitaph was probably also planned many decades ago. Well, this is Dad we're talking about. I try not to let the things he does surprise me, but this... Just how far does this stairway go? Hey, maybe the old rumors are true. You know, the story about him having a mistress in a hidden mansion somewhere in the forest? Wait, what? Rosa is hated in the community? Why? Free Rosa. I don't hate Rosa at all. I like Rosa. I think Rosa's smart. But, I mean, yeah, she beats her kid, but... Excuse me. I feel like there's a few characters in this game that kind of get hard done by. You got, like, Rosa, you got Natsui, they're both kind of given the little shaft. Yeah, tough fucking shit. Maria deserves someone being mean to her, man. I see. It's likely that this underground passage goes all the way there. I wonder if it connects to the mansion from that day. I think we found the goal. Look at that filthy door. Something's written on it. Ooh. This is it. Something was written on the door in red paint. On the 10th twilight the journey ends and you shall reach the home of the gold. Does it open? It does. Ready? I'm gonna open it. Have we finally reached the gold? It sounds too good to be true, but I'm wishing it is. Let's open it, Nason. Right. Here goes. I think out of the siblings, I think Ava and Rosa are my two favorite. And... I mean, we'll do a character tier list at the end of this all, but... I think Kraus is my least favorite of them. Not really because he has anything terrible about him, but he just kinda doesn't do anything. But the heavy door opened slowly. Then the gold-filled underground VIP room showed itself. They only had an instant to admire the splendid furnishings of the underground VIP room. As soon as the mountain of gold next to the canopy bed came into sight, they all froze stunned. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, dude. Rudolph just has like some swagger to him. I don't know what it is. After a second, the stunned silence faded and was replaced by cries of astonishment and wild joy. Although I will still say it, I still don't trust Rudolph or Kiri. But mainly Rudolph, but both of them. Ever since that scene in episode 3, looking back on it, that's like one of the only things that I'm still confused by. I still think that I think they killed Hideyoshi. The only thing that's a bit odd about it is I think Hideyoshi was staked, which would implicate Yasu in that killing. But I don't know. There's something about those two that I don't trust. Incredible. I can't believe it. It's 20 billion yen in gold. It really, really exists. What a shining mountain. It almost blinds the eyes. Ooh, ha 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 ha. We did it, we did it. We win this game. You mustn't touch it without permission. This is Father's gold. Oh, really? Then why don't you call Father down here now? Right away. Your little farce is long over. Natsui, let's put an end to the obvious lies, shall we? This mountain of gold is as real as can be. Let's all be just as real with one another. Fortunately, we're all in a good mood and feeling very generous right now. Just give it up already. Ugh. A pile of gold this massive carries magical power within it. That power draws out the most honest feelings within people. The light from the chandelier glinted off the golden mountain, lighting them up with its golden gleam. It was as though the gleam manipulated them. For some time they forgot their age, and howled and laughed, running about and rolling around like a bunch of excited kindergartners at a park. What is all this? What's it supposed to mean? The epitaph has been solved before the crime occurred, and by all the siblings together. That hasn't happened any of the games before now. Supposedly Beatrice decided not to commit the crime if the epitaph was solved. Yeah, supposedly. I wonder. Angie snorted, but I believed. This is what Claire decided. She entrusted everything to the roulette of fate, so she would obey the result. She let the roulette decide her own fate specifically because they couldn't decide on their own. So she'll do what it says. She'll follow her own rule. She'll definitely keep her promise. I don't know if she would, man. It won't occur. The crime. Are you sure about that? Yes. Her roulette has already made its decision. This is the end of her game. If it's the end, what happens next? They all become happy rich people and leave the family conference unharmed. My family comes back to me with a souvenir of an ingot that isn't made of chocolate, and everything ends happily. You think those witches would chain us to chairs to show us a naive dream like that? When she showed off the chain on her wrist with a clank, I was unable to counter her with confidence. But I want to believe that Claire's game has now come to one of its possible conclusions, even if it is the least eventful. Perhaps just once at the end, she wanted to show us a world where no crime occurs. Having disappeared with no regrets, perhaps she left us a parting gift in the form of a game where no crime occurs. In a sense, the most peaceful sort of game. I would like to believe that. If only these heavy cold chains weren't holding us in place in this theater. Is someone there? Rosa's shrill cry brought the celebrating to an immediate stop. Rosa knew she'd seen it. The curtain against the wall had fluttered and the shape of a person had been there behind it. None of that if you don't mind. You're just imagining things. Is someone there? If you are, come out. When Ava yelled, the curtain shook. And then, a witch wearing a black dress appeared from the other side. In an instant, everyone realized that the dress was the same as the one worn by the witch of the portrait, and they realized one more thing. This person was the owner of this room. Welcome to the Room of the Gold. Her face and her voice were expressionless, blank. The others all looked at each other, wondering who should respond. Rudolph was the first to speak. So, you are Beatrice. Indeed. And you're the one who gave Maria that letter. Indeed. Is Father behind this? No. This is my game. If that's so, then we've won. We've solved the epitaph's riddle and found the gold. We accepted your challenge and won. That means this gold belongs to us, right? Indeed, it is as you say. You have solved the epitaph splendidly and discovered the hidden gold. This game ends in your victory. This gold no longer belongs to me, but to all of you. It seems you're graceful in defeat. Hey you, if we hadn't solved the epitaph's riddle, what were you planning to do? The letter said that you'd take everything of the Ushirmiya family. Yes, I plan to take all of your wealth and all of your lives. I plan to do as I please with everything that exists on this island. The witch walked towards the table next to the bed. Then for the first time the others realized what sat on that table. They were 4 rifles. There was also a case full of... Ooh, interesting, wait. The rifles were here? Doesn't that mean... Wait a minute. 1 second. I was wondering, I mentioned this many times earlier about where the fuck the rifles were located, that it seems like the siblings knew about it, but now I'm starting to get a little bit of like a weird hankering, or were they always located here? Because if they were always located here, then we're starting to get to some interesting theories about potentially people being in, or sorry, I'm not showing my notes. We're starting to get into some interesting things about people being like accomplices. But there were 4 rifles. There was also a case filled with bullets. The witch picked up one of the lead bullets lying on the table and played with it, her face still expressionless as she spoke. If the night had ended before you managed to solve the epitaph's riddle, I plan to follow its instructions and commit 13 murders. What did you say? That's what I thought when I first read that epitaph. It almost looked like something you'd find in a serial murder mystery novel. That's right. If you had killed 13 people to match the epitaph, that would have made for quite a mysterious crime. There's no way you could do that all by yourself. No matter how many guns you have, killing 13 people, that would just be... My planning was meticulous and involved many different alternatives. I envisioned all of the actions you might take from tonight and through tomorrow, and prepared a mystery to deal with each of those. I'm afraid I can no longer reveal them, but I have quite the number of intricate and entertaining locked room murders prepared. You could probably have gunned a few of us down in our sleep, but there's no way you'd have been able to kill 13 of us. We aren't that stupid. It would seem so. I will admit that the epitaph being solved before the first twilight was the result I considered the most unlikely. So you never accounted for us reaching this place. That is not so. Even this was one of the results of the roulette I wished to create, and it is most likely the best outcome for all of you. No one will die and you can leave this island with the gold. Congratulations. This game ends with a perfect victory for you all. If no one could solve the riddle, she planned to take those guns and commit a serial murder. Everyone gulped as they watched the witch emotionlessly make her confession. If your confession is the truth, that means you were trying to kill us. Yes, that is true. The hell? I can't believe you can just admit to that. You can't possibly expect us to treat you favorably now that you revealed that to us. I am prepared. You may do as you will with me. That is true, she did take a bit of the gold, but I always envisioned her taking the gold at the end of episode 2. I envisioned it as Rosa taking it from the chapel, because I remember there was 3 gold ingots that were in the chapel. And I don't know if they ever touched any of them, so that's what I always had thought, is that she had ran to the chapel and grabbed the ingots that were there. But, like I said, I don't remember if they had said anything about what they did with those ingots once they were displayed or shown, but the accomplice angle is definitely still present. I mean, I've been theorizing for a while that I don't think it was just the work of one person. I still don't think it was. I also think that the will thing kind of confirmed that you can have outside influences. For instance, in episode 3 with Ava. Sorry for the hiccups. But regardless, I'll reread this. I don't remember if I did. I'm prepared. You may do as you will with me. If you hadn't solved the epitaph, I would have done the same to you, so it is only fair. This girl's got guts. I planned this game because I was prepared to bet my life. I am satisfied with the result. If you wish to kill me now, I am prepared. She no longer even treasured her life. The witch walked towards the others as she spoke, and they automatically stepped back. The gold belongs to all of you. I planned to give everything to the one who discovered it first, but I didn't expect there to be 7 of you. I leave the decision of how to split the gold to the 7 of you. I will not involve myself. And... The witch walked even closer. She walked through the middle of the group to the antique clock behind them. The clock was large and had a dignified feel to it. The witch patted it and spoke. Allow me to explain the device within this clock. For you two have gained not just the gold, but the entirety of this island. I wonder if this will have to do with, like, the explosion thing that we found? What do you mean by that? If you interpret the epitaph as a series of murders, then yes, there are only 13 people killed on the first 8 twilights, but on the 9th twilight, it says clearly that none shall be left alive. What does that mean? In other words, she was planning to massacre all of us? Don't tell me, that clock. As you have guessed, it is connected to a set of explosives. Are you the one who set that up, or was that Ushirimiya Kinzo? Ushirimiya Kinzo is the one who set up the device. This device is the source of his mad magical power. I don't have a clue what you're talking about. In other words, Dad set up this bomb, and if he ever went broke, he was prepared to die in a blast that would wipe away everything, including himself. On this island, Ushirimiya Kinzo made a contract with the Golden Witch and obtained the gold. However, that was not all he gained. He also gained a nuclear weapon. Nuclear bombs. What are you talking about? Wait, don't tell me. There is that rumor about the remains of an old Japanese military base existing on Rokunjima. Could it be? Your guess is correct. Beneath this island sleeps the remains of an underground Japanese military base from the time of the war, along with 900 tons of explosives. Okay, so that's our answer. There is a clock that is rigged to 900 tons of explosives on the island. Clock is in the golden room. N 900 tons? That's unbelievable. If that exploded, the result would be unimaginable. Forget just the mansion blowing up, it'd leave a massive crater. I believe an expert's estimate measured it as a hole several dozen meters deep and a kilometer across. There wouldn't be even a trace left. There is a special mechanism that controls the detonation of these explosives. This switch I just flipped arms the mechanism. The witch toyed with a switch on the top of the antique clock. If midnight arrives while the switch is in this position, the explosives will detonate. But it's almost midnight now. In other words, it's not a time bomb that explodes a certain number of hours after you activate it. It's one that only explodes at the stroke of midnight. Indeed. It is almost midnight now. If an explosion is what you desire, you can just leave it like this. Who would want that? Turn it off! By this time, Kinzo was probably the only one who knew. The secret base on Rokunjima had started out as a submarine base. However, when the plan reached a standstill, it was redefined as a top-secret base for Homeland Defense. A huge plan had been drawn up to have the Army and Navy perform a pincer attack on American forces if the latter decided to land on the Kyujukuri beach and press towards Tokyo. As a trump card for this massive defensive maneuver, the Navy started stockpiling large quantities of explosives and fuel in absolute secrecy. And the Rokunjima base was the location those were stockpiled at. The total weight of the buried explosives was 900 tons. Also fearing that the Americans might find out the island's secrets and seize the explosives, they set up a system for the self-destruction of the entire island. Kinzo, who knew about this, decided not only to keep this self-destruct system active, but to connect it up to this strange clock that could cause the explosion at night, any night at midnight. Kinzo is famous for building up his funds using a vast store of gold, and then using those funds in several sink-or-swim gambles one after another. Just what did his stockpile of gold and the 900 tons of sleeping explosives mean to him? At this point, we can only speculate. Perhaps the true source of Kinzo's mad power wasn't the gold after all. Perhaps it was this device, with which he could erase himself and this entire island from existence if he lost a big gamble in all that he owned. He must have been putting the gold and everything else he had on the line at every point in his life. Kinzo had probably looked at this clock at times, maybe flipping the activation switch and letting the clock tick down. Whenever things got tough and he got stuck, maybe he would hide in here and flip the switch. He might have made it a rule for himself that he would blow everything away if he couldn't think of a brilliant plan before midnight came. He would gaze at the mountain of gold, listening to the clock tick towards his death as he searched for an idea. Perhaps Ushirimiya Kinzo's real study wasn't the one in the mansion, but this place instead. This whole setup sounds just like Dad. So maybe each time Dad worried about something, all of us kids were put on the line as well. For our father, it wouldn't be unthinkable. This device now belongs to all of you. If you want a massive explosion, use it whenever you please. Are you crazy? Who'd want a big explosion? These explosives are half a century old, right? Would they really go off? Yes, of course. The explosives and the fuses are still working. I tested them myself. You tested them? Could it be that? Yes, now I finally understand. So that's why the shrine disappeared without a trace. So it wasn't lightning. But didn't they mention a purple lightning bolt? I feel like that's a little odd. That also just confirms that it's Shannon, by the way, because we learned about Shannon being the one that destroyed the shrine. But regardless. Sorry, I'm just fixing my mic. My voice is like super shot today, I don't know why, so I apologize if my voice sounds weird, but It's been bothering me ever since I started reading. I don't know why. It doesn't hurt or anything, but it just sounds funky, at least to me. The fuck is this? Okay. This summer, the shrine had disappeared without a trace, along with the reef under it. It felt strange that the waves could have destroyed it without a trace like that, but no one had paid it much mind. And now this piece perfectly fit into the hole left by that strange feeling. Indeed, I used that shrine to test whether the explosives were still working after half a century. I believe you are all aware of the result. I mean, the shrine looks pretty small. I don't think that's really proving much, but... the little bit I used was enough to make that entire reef vanish. As I'm sure you can imagine, 900 tons of that would cause an explosion large enough to rewrite the map. If an explosion like that happened, all of us would most certainly die. But what would you have done? I somehow doubt that you intended on going down with the rest of us. This underground VIP room is connected to an underground passage from the remnants of the military base. If you go straight along that, you'll come out at the hidden mansion on the opposite side of the island, Kuadorian. It's about 2 kilometers away. If you make it all the way there, it should be possible to escape the blast. I see. So you plan to escape to there just before the blast? I have only said that such a thing is possible. You may not believe this, but if the 9th twilight had ended before any of you could solve the riddle, I plan to die along with everything else. There's something seriously wrong with this girl. So this is an interesting thing to put down too, that Beatrice intended to die along with everyone in the explosion. Should it not be solved? Which sort of makes sense, right? Because all of this was to be a message towards Battler, you know, that if Battler didn't describe it, like if Battler didn't decipher what was going on, it's not like Beatrice would have a reason to live. So, she's insane. There's no point thinking about it. If we hadn't solved the epitaph, she would have used those guns, or else that switch, to massacre all of us. There's no doubt in my mind. You are correct. You have ended this game in the best possible way without there being even a single victim. I wish to convey my respect and admiration. Though it was a 7-person effort, it took you only a single night to solve the riddle that took me a very long time to solve. That is worthy of praise. I also admire you for your graciousness and honesty in defeat. We haven't decided how you will be dealt with, but I hope to do all I can to reach a gentlemanly agreement. Do not concern yourself with me any longer. As someone who was already prepared to kill you all and die in the process, I am already one of the dead. The Golden Witch Beatrice solved the epitaph, reached this room and revived. And now, new people had solved the riddle and reached this room, so her role was finished. When the epitaph's riddle was solved, Beatrice's witch illusion ended. Most likely no one in this room would have been capable of understanding her tragic resolve. She herself was probably the only one who could. As long as the many selves inside of her understood, that was enough. I am one yet many. I entrusted myself to the magical roulette of endless possibilities. The result, the answer, is this. This is what the tarot cards known as the ritual of the epitaph have shown me. Beatrice is now dead. They did not kill her. I killed her myself, in accordance with fate's command. They will never understand, for all eternity. The witch stared up at the ceiling without speaking for a while, then looked as though she'd suddenly remembered something. She grabbed at the sleeves of her dress and took out some sort of card. Oh, yes. I forgot. I have no need for money after death. I will give this to all of you as well. A cash card? I have converted a portion of the gold to cash. This is for the account that the money is in. I see. So this is the magical energy of the Golden Witch. How much is in the account? I've forgotten the exact figure. However, there is more than 1 billion yen. 1 billion? Now that really is magic. True. There's nothing you couldn't do with that much money. Very true. The strongest magic to counter the human's anti-magic toxin is this magic of gold. It may be that this card holds greater power than the ingots. Certainly. Cash would be much more agreeable than ingots. Here you go. I have no need of this anymore. The card she held out was not taken by any of them. Who would ever just hand over a card with 1 billion yen in it? The mountain of gold, the device for blowing up the island, the card with 1 billion yen. All of these surpassed their understanding. So no one could bring themselves to take it. I don't like it. What don't you like? Here you go. Here's a mound of gold, and I'll turn off the explosives and give you a card worth 1,000,000,000 yen while we're at it. It sounds far too good to be true. You're trying to trick us somehow, aren't you? I have no desire to trick you, but I won't try to force you to believe. I have offered you everything, revealed everything. What you believe and what you do is now for you, the new masters of the gold, to decide. You are even free to disbelieve all I say and leave this place. Ava, I can't imagine that she's lying. And how could you know that? I don't like how relaxed she's acting. It's as though she thinks she's already won. I just had an idea a second ago. What if she's lying about which is the off side of the switch? What do you mean, Ne-san? Just a second ago this woman flipped the switch saying she'd turn off the bomb. But what if that actually armed the bomb? We solved the riddle, so you turn the bomb switch to on, trying to blow us and everything else up, right? If that is what you think, then please feel free to flip the switch on this clock. Oh, or flip the switch. That's a fucking good meme. It will be midnight in 1 minute. The clock will show you the truth. What did you say? Hey, what are we supposed to do? Is the bomb set to on now? Or off? I don't think she could be lying. It's inactive now. We shouldn't flip it. But I don't like it. Why is she so resigned to her fate? Why is she offering us things one after another? She's tricking us to buy time. She wants us to buy time, or she wants to buy time until midnight so that she can go down in flames along with us. What about the switch itself? Is there some way to tell if it's on or off? On the upper part of the antique clock was a metal switch that could slide right or left. Currently it was set to the left. However, there was no marks in particular on either side to indicate which side was off and which was on. Hey, tell us the truth. Which way is off? Left. It's off now. Rudolph, you idiot. You really expect an honest answer from her? It's the opposite. It has to be. The right side has to be off. We don't have any more time, Ne-san. Stop it, Ava. Don't touch the switch. It's already off. Ava, take your hand off it. I agree. It's off now. If she wanted to kill us with a bomb, she wouldn't have told us about it. That's what I think. Beatrice? Don't think you can trick me. 5, 4, 3. Nah. Nothing's gonna happen, of course. Look, it hit midnight. Oh no. Oh no. Look, guys, nothing happened. Hooray. She wasn't lying. Wow. The second hand of the clock ticked past midnight. October 4th ended, and the curtain rose on October 5th, 1986. The switch was still pointing to the left. The witch's words had proven correct. Get mocked, Ava. Have I gained your trust now? You bitch. With a hideous, sweat-covered expression, Ava snatched the cash card away from the witch's hand. How about a bank book and seal? We can't withdraw anything with just a card. All you need is the PIN. It's 8 digits long. Wait a second. I'm writing it down. Ava and Curie both took out a pen and notepad and began writing the 8-digit number the witch told them. That is everything I have to tell you and give you. I will say nothing more. All of my tasks have been completed. After saying this, the witch spun around and sat down on the bed. She wasn't even looking at the others anymore. She sat there like an empty husk which had, just as she had said, finished everything it existed to do. For a while, everyone watched the witch to see if she would remember something else and start talking. However, she said nothing further. The witch who had called herself one of the dead was now little more than a large French doll wearing a black dress. Excuse me. Oh, I thought the clock was going to be like the passing of the chapter part, I guess. That was a little bit shorter than the first part, but I did fuck around a bit at the start of the first part, so it is what it is. Gold is the only physical embodiment of magic that can appear in the human world. Since ancient times, even a small fragment of it could control men with its magic. In that case, how much magic power would dwell in it? If it was piled up in a mountain so high that you'd have to look up to see the top. Don't be stupid, we'll split it evenly. Isn't that the obvious solution? Didn't we say that half of this pile would belong to me and the other half would be split between the 4 of us? The yells of the people dancing around the gold reverberated throughout the underground room. In front of the pile of the gold, they were arguing about how it should be split. Could you have solved the riddle all by yourself, Nissan? You couldn't have, could you? The 4 of us siblings solved it together. Of course we'll split it in 4 equal parts. Coward. Weren't you the ones who first made that proposal about the gold's distribution? How can you disregard that so easily? You really think you were in a position to bargain when you're the ones hiding Dad's death? That's right, that's right. You've been swindling us this whole time, treating Father's wealth as if it were your own. All you need to do is split the gold evenly and we'll drop all the rest. Sounds very fair to me. Well, if you're gonna say that, let's just try splitting it 4 ways. Feel free to split this pile in 4 and carry your own shares home. I hope you have pockets that can hold 2.5 tons of ingots. It seems you've all been driven mad by the gold and lost all ability to make rational judgments. What do you mean by that, Kraus? Look at this ingot. As you can see, there are no official markings, just Father's crest. How do you intend to turn unmarked gold into cash? Well. Have you finally figured it out? This pile of gold may well be worth 20 billion yen, however that's only if you can exchange it for cash. Are any of you capable of liquidating this many unmarked, unknown ingots at the proper exchange rate without word of it getting out? If it was a necklace or a ring, exchanging it for cash would have been a manageable problem. However, to do that with several tons of unmarked gold that couldn't be made public would be impossible for any normal person. However, Kraus could do it. Among the several business associates who had been close to the family since Kinzo's generation, there were some who had black market ties and sufficient financial clout. The 10 billion yen, or the billion yen tied to the cash card that the Golden Witch had handed out, was also money that had been liquidated via one of Kinzo's connections. However, none of the other siblings had connections like that. They would have to rely on Kraus to exchange the gold for cash. Now you're finally seeing it. I apologize for hiding all those things about Father. However, your position is not so strong that you can use them as leverage against me. You really think that little thing gives you the advantage? What do you intend to do with that gun? Please, put that vicious thing away. I'm gonna yawn one sec. Jesus. Ava was gripping the gun so hard it looked like it might snap. The 4 guns that the witch had placed in this room were now in the hands of the relatives. Yeah, I know, he's greedy for doing like fuck all. His wife wears the pants in the relationships. He's a total bitch. Just as the gold had led their hearts astray, it seemed these guns had the magical power to turn their hearts to violence. Finally, a scuffle arose between Ava and Kraus. Off to the side, Natsui started arguing with Rudolph and his wife, and the Grand Underground VIP room filled with a cacophony of angry outbursts. Angie's face was starting to contort with pain after being forced to watch this scene for so long. It was only natural after being shown the abusive argument between her parents and her other relatives. What on earth? It was painful for Leon, too. Leon would have tried to intervene and calm them if that had been possible. The gold wouldn't go anywhere. If they just took their time and thought about it calmly, they would be able to resolve this. Ava and the others had argued that they needed a lot of money before the end of the year, which was understandable. However, the billion yen cash card would be more than enough to pay for that. With their emergency expenses taken care of, they could liquidate the gold at their leisure, then just split it among themselves. Sure, maybe Kraus was the only one capable of converting the gold. That might give him an advantage over the other siblings. However, this gold couldn't be dealt with by open means. In addition to attracting public attention, it would also lead to various legal problems. Probably to do with, like, where the gold came from in Italy and blah blah blah. It was better for this secret money to remain secret. If they wanted to get the largest portions possible, they should all agree not to tell anyone about the gold. In other words, to maximize their profits, they needed a gentleman's agreement that all of them would keep the secret. Kraus did have a slight advantage, however it was possible for the other relatives to refuse to cooperate and tell the world about the gold. And then there was also the concealment of Kinzo's death to consider. Kraus was an investor. He needed not only a financial club but also a certain degree of public confidence. His advantage wasn't big enough for him to act so overbearing. The mountain of gold has made everyone lose their ability to think rationally. This isn't an argument between adults, it's just a fight between kids. What's so fun about showing this us? Or is this the game of some new witch? Are they watching us suffer from somewhere and laughing? By now even I didn't have a clue who was showing us this or for what reason. At the very least, it doesn't look as though this new tale is overflowing with affection. At first I thought it was a tale of a beautiful world where no crime occurred, since Claire had gotten past all of her regrets. But something's different. This tale is clearly filled with ill will towards us. I'm sure of that much now, but I don't have a clue who would want to show us this. Suddenly a loud explosion rang out. It didn't feel like the sound of gunfire. After all, most people living a normal life never hear that sound. Ooh, who got clapped? Ooh, okay, money on it. Well, we saw that Ava had a gun. You would imagine that it's one of Ava or Kraus, because they were scuffling over it, but it could also be that they shot the gun and it hit somebody else. Drip, 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 drip. The sound of thick raindrops hitting the floor. There was no rain in this underground room. It was the sound of blood dripping down from not- No, my goat! No, 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 no. If it's Natsui, it means it had to be one of Kiri or Rudolph, right? Or it was the gun that... There was 4 of them, right? The bullet had gone in through her right eye towards the back of her head. Natsui? Damn, it was a misfire off from her. That's fucking crazy. It's your fault for jumping at me. The gun, which fell from Ava's grasp, landed on the floor with a hard metallic clang. As though in response to that sound, Natsui's head slowly turned to face the ceiling. Natsui. Natsui! Natsui flopped backwards. When the back of her head hit the floor, a red splash spread out beneath it, forming a single flower to adorn her dead face. Natsui! Why did you shoot her? Why did you shoot her, Ava? Ava! Kraus howled, raised his gun, and ran at Ava. At the same time, Hideyoshi leapt between them. A scuffle broke out between the two men. You killed Natsui. You killed Natsui. Ugh! Kraus, you got it wrong. You got it all wrong. It was just an accident. Ava, how could you? I'll kill you. I'll kill you. I didn't shoot her. I didn't. I told her to stop and she just jumped at me and... Kraus, who had just seen his wife killed before his eyes, had lost all traces of rationality in his expression. He was so furious that, if he had knocked Hideyoshi aside and jumped at Ava, he might have torn her throat out. Why did you kill her? Why did you kill her? Ava! It was an accident. An accident. Calm down, Kraus. Ow, 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 ow. Ugh. Ooh, we got another shot. Another explosion rang out. Hideyoshi's face was covered with blood. The two of them had been fighting over the gun Kraus held, trying to push it away from themselves. When the barrel had turned to point at Kraus's chin, the sneering Formless Reaper, master of this room of gold, had swung its scythe once more. A line of blood trickled from Kraus's mouth. The two fell down with Kraus's body on top of Hideyoshi. Letting out a cowardly cry, Hideyoshi backed away from Kraus's body, or backed away before Kraus's body could cover him. Honey! I didn't do anything. Kraus's finger just got caught on the trigger. It's an accident, I tell you. That's right, an accident. This was all an accident. As the pair of them broke down sobbing and repeatedly claiming that it was all an accident, Rosa and the others were unable to say a thing. The witch also watched this scene, but said nothing and appeared to be completely disinterested. It wasn't our fault. It's just an accident. An accident! You saw, right? Right? You saw that, didn't you, Rosa? Kraus and Natsui both let their emotions get a hold of them and charged at us. Well, I can't say I'm sure. Stupid Rosa, you saw it, didn't you? You saw it from right there, so you must know. I'm sorry. I can't tell if it happened by accident, or if you killed them and tried to make it look like an accident. Rosa, you... Rudolph, you saw. You know what happened, right? Right? Sorry, but I agree with Rosa. We can't tell if it was an accident or intentional. Damn, so they can cut their asses out right then and there. Rosa and Rudolph's gazes looked very cold and indifferent to Ava and her husband. What are we going to do? They were shot to death. We can't just write this off as an accident. The forest. We'll say they went to the forest and went missing, then we can buy some time. That won't get us off the hook, right? The police would just search the whole forest. And anyway, why would those two go off into an uncultivated forest like that? It'll look suspicious from the start. There's no way we'll get away with it. It'll be okay. If we hide the corpses here, no one will be able to find them. If we all play dumb, it'll work. It won't. There's no way you can fool the police. If the two of them disappeared during a family conference, where we were arguing over the inheritance problem, the police won't just put it down as a case of missing persons. I just thought of something. Though Ava had been scratching at her head, overcome with emotion, her arm suddenly fell as though their strings had been cut. What did you think of? An accident. We just need to make it look like an accident. Don't talk stupid. What kind of accident? There are clear gunshot wounds on both corpses. Is she gonna say to blow up the island? Even if we burn them to make it look like they were caught in a fire, it'll still be obvious they were killed by guns. A fire. That's not good enough. We need more. A much more massive accident. A massive accident. Ava slowly walked forward, tapped on it, and spoke. An explosion accident. We just need the sort of accident that will leave no traces of their corpses. As she played with the switch that would cause an automatic explosion at midnight, Ava spun around to face them, a crazed expression on her face. It was truly a mad inspiration. If they flipped the switch to the right and waited for midnight, then 900 tons of explosives would wipe out the mansion without a trace. There wouldn't even be remnants of the corpses. There would be no way to tell that they had died by gunshot wounds before the explosion. It's an unshakable fact that this island is still filled with explosives from the war. Then by coincidence, tomorrow night, something will set it off by chance and the whole thing will explode. Yes, it'll be an accident. An explosion accident. What do you say? There's no way the police will find out the truth. This way we can pull it off. We can hide the manner of their deaths. How ridiculous. Shaking, Hideyoshi frantically searched for a counter-argument, hoping to repudiate Ava's mad idea. But he couldn't find one. If they blew everything up, the facts would all be muddled. They could make it look as though Kraus and Natsui had died in an explosion accident. I feel like they should say explosive, but I understand why they say explosion, but... Or you could just say that they died in an explosion. But... It's perfect, just perfect. After all, it was an accident that they died anyways. We're just changing the type of accident. Isn't that right? We can think up any story we want. By chance, the rest of us will happen to be in the hidden mansion tomorrow night. Then, when the explosion accident occurs, we'll all be lucky enough to survive. That story should work. Just what sort of story are you planning on? What kind of story could explain how the two of them alone remain here, while the rest of us went to the hidden mansion and conveniently managed to escape? That's what we've got to think up now, stupid Rosa. It doesn't matter what it is as long as we all agree to it. I'll think of something. I am thinking. You all think too. Someone think of something! Calm down, Ava. I'll think about it, and so will everyone else. We'll definitely think of something and it'll all work out. We'll share the burden. You won't have to carry it all yourself. It'll be okay. It will. I know we'll think of a good excuse. What kind of excuse? We took the kids and all the servants to go exploring an underground passageway, leaving just the two of them behind, and the rest of us all decided to spend the night in the hidden mansion. How could any excuse work? It's insane. Ugh. And thinking up that insane thing is our job. Why are you acting like this has nothing to do with you? You think of something too. Nei-san, let me ask you a question. If you blow up the island, what will happen to this gold? Well... We've finally gotten our hands on 20 billion yen of gold, and you want to blow it all away. We can just carry it away. It's as simple as that. The explosion will happen tomorrow at midnight. We have a full day. If we all carry it together, we might... You realize there's 10 tons of it, right? We're a small group who can each shoulder a sack of rice and weight at best, and we only have a single day. Just how much do you think we can carry back and forth across this long underground passage that goes all the way across the island? You're being absurd. Here, we have this card. This card is worth 1 billion yen, which that woman gave us. We can just carry whatever gold we can. We have the card worth 1 billion yen on top of that. If we split that 3 ways, we'll have more than 300 million each. That should be enough for all of our purposes. No thanks. Oh, this is like the big dog Rosa moment. What? There's a mountain worth 20 billion yen right here. Why should I be satisfied with a measly 300 million? Rosa... Ava's face twisted in anguish and was met by Rosa's look of cold unconcern. Even if we factor in Kraus's share, that gives us a rightful share of 5 billion yen each. Subtract the 300 million from the card and the rest of my share is 4.7 billion. If you agree to pay that much to me, then you can do whatever you want with this mountain of gold. Excuse me. What do you think you're saying? So you don't intend to cooperate? Oh my god, my hiccups are going crazy. Nei-san, please calm down and listen. I'm going to suggest to you the way that both of us can leave here with the most money. What? I want you to go to the police and turn yourself in, admitting that you got into a scuffle and the gun went off. Are you crazy? I don't want to go to the police. Of course, we don't want to say that the crime happened here. The police would find the gold. Yes, what about the rose garden? It's pouring rain right now, so the police probably wouldn't find any contradictions in the crime scene. I'll let you think of an excuse for why you and Nissan started fighting while you were holding guns in the rainy rose garden. Don't try to get us and our shares involved just because you want to hide your crime. Rosa! It's not so bad, right? It's not like they'll lock you up for decades. It was an accident, right? You'll be able to get out after just a few years. Once you've paid for your crime and gotten out, then you can do whatever you want with your 5 billion. No, absolutely no. What would happen if we were arrested? What would happen to my husband's company? Starts taking a drink. Who cares about the company? With 5 billion yen, working any longer would just be a waste of time, right? Rosa had never intended to go along with the idea Ava proposed. As far as the size of each person's portion went, no one had anything to gain from an explosion accident. By doing that, they could conceal Kraus and Natsui's deaths. There was no other reason to do it. From Rosa's perspective, the ideal outcome would be for them to confess to their crimes without any unnecessary tricks. All she wanted to do was to change the crime scene from here to a different place. However, Ava didn't want to be arrested. She didn't like having her share shrink from 5 billion to 300 million, but even that was more than enough to cover the amount she had been trying to wring out of Kraus in the first place. She'd wanted to hide what happened here even if it meant blowing away 4.7 billion yen. What would happen if they were arrested? The life, the company, and the trust that Ava and her husband had worked so long to build. Those were things that couldn't be bought back with money. So she wanted to hide Kraus and Natsui's deaths even if it meant blowing up all 4.7 billion yen worth of her gold. But from Rosa's perspective, that was just irrational nonsense. Rosa! What do you think you're doing with that gun, Nason? Are you going to misfire and kill me too? That'll make finding an excuse even harder. In fact, it'll also make it harder to explain away the other 2 deaths as accidents too. If you end up linked to 3 deaths, that's a fairly huge crime. They'll seek the death penalty most likely, and settle for a life sentence. At the very least, you'll be put away for a good 10 plus years. Give up and turn yourself in. If you do, there'll be no more than a pair of unfortunate accidents. Of course, your prison term won't be too terrible either. Don't worry about George. We'll take good care of him. And we'll make sure that all 5 billion of your share will be waiting for you when you get back. Ava ground her teeth and glared. The Rosa she knew should have been shaking and obeying her commands, and yet Rosa wasn't scared. Her blank expression, no, that slight smile, was one that Ava had never seen before. I had to mute real quick and blow my nose 1 second. Okay, sorry. Put the gun down, Nason. If you calm down, you'll see that my plan is the best one. Prison isn't so bad, right? Think of it as a financial strategy. Even if they put you in for 10 years, there will be 5 billion waiting for you when you get out. That's like working for a 500 million yen salary, right? If you think of it that way, you might even enjoy your job. Liar. You just want to make off with my share while I'm in there, like your man did to you. He has nothing to do with this, okay? I'm not going to run off. I would never, ever run away with money. I would never do that. Rosa's once stony expression was filled with rage. The 2 howling people pointed their guns at each other, shouting insults at each other. You could smell the gold room's reaper slinking closer. The smell of gunpowder, the explosive smell of death filled the room. Come on, Rosa. Fire first if you're... Okay, Rosa, it better have been you. Blorp. A bubble of blood... Oh, fucking hell, man. Come the fuck on, Rosa. You really couldn't nut up there? I'm disappointed. A bubble of blood dripped from Rosa's mouth. Come on, take her down with you at least, man. Then she fell over lifelessly like a mannequin. Ava, it wasn't me. I swear I didn't even pull the trigger. Oh, is it Rosa and Kiri, please? Oh! Ava, you just shot Natsui, so your gun wasn't loaded, right? You never reloaded, so even if you pulled the trigger, that gun wouldn't kill anyone. Have no fear. As Kiri said this, she maneuvered the lever action with a practiced hand, and a smoke-smelling shell casing was ejected. It hit the floor with a small metallic sound. That tiny sound had a disturbing ring to it. Rosa's analysis was a little naive. Converting this many unmarked gold ingots into usable money, she has no idea how difficult that would be. Dad just used it as show money to gain confidence, and even that was enough to create the rumor called the legend of the Ushirimiya gold. It's impossible to liquidate it. A pile of gold you can't use is no better than a pile of shit. 10 tons of gold exchanged on the black market, the successor and his wife dead in suspicious circumstances. Expecting that not to attract attention is what's really impossible. It's better not to get the police involved. We'll blow up this island and destroy all the evidence. If it's tough parting with the gold, feel free to grab a few ingots. The billion yen on the cash card is more than enough. In other words, Ava, you're right. I'm glad. It looks like we're on the same page. If the police get involved, who knows what might happen. It's the same with cashing in the gold. It just creates more opportunities for word to get out somehow. It's more than we can handle. The billion yen that woman over there exchanged for cash is the only money we can get our hands on. And even splitting that billion, it'll be more than enough for what we need. On top of that, now that Rosa is dead, our shares have increased even more. We can each leave this island with 500 million. Yeah, why don't you follow the line of logic there, Ava? If they just eliminated one part of the pie and their share increased, what do you think is about to happen next? Exactly. As long as we don't let our greedy desire to cash in the gold control us, we can pretend that everything that occurred on this island never happened. We have a way to do that, right here. There was no longer any reason to worry about accidental discharges or people being shot to death on this island. Everything would be erased equally by the explosion accident. No matter what had happened between now and midnight the next day, everything would be rewritten by the explosion. I don't think you need that accident at the end there. And you told me to turn myself in? Stupid Rosa. You weren't satisfied with a measly 300 million? This is what you get for being too greedy. You got nothing more than you deserved. But Kiri, there was no need to shoot her, right? Even Rosa would have figured it out if you just told her. I did need to shoot her. After all, Rosa's the only one who didn't fire her gun. What does that matter? The guns lying at your feet are Krause's and Ava's. Both of those have been fired. However, Rosa's gun can shoot if you just pull the trigger. It's hard to reload one of these if you aren't used to a lever action. An amateur couldn't do it. Kiri, what are you talking about? You! They finally realized what Kiri meant. Rosa had the only gun that could still fire, so I shot her first. Oh, how foolish we were. Why didn't we realize sooner? We should have realized that there's a mechanism for erasing everything that happens on this island. Ava and Hideyoshi hurried to pick up the guns that lay at their feet. At the same time, fire spat from Kiri's gun once more. Hideyoshi let out a short scream, clutched at his chest, and fell over face down. Honey? Honey! What's wrong with this? Ava fiddled with the lever action, trying to imitate something she vaguely remembered from old westerns, but something seemed to be caught, and the still open lever didn't budge. See? It's pretty hard. You... Doesn't this also say something that Kiri is familiar enough to be able to operate this? Kiri is familiar enough to be able to operate the lever action without it jamming. Which is interesting. Kiri finished reloading with a fluid motion. The way she held it was as innocent and sure as a kid playing with a squirt gun. With another heartless cry of gunfire, the puppet called Ava slumped down to the floor, as though all her strings had been cut. That is true, although Kiri did have her scene with a gun in episode 3, same with Rudolph. They both did have a little bit in episode 3, but not like a full-fledged like episode of it, I guess. Rudolph, the billion yen card, sure. The cash with the billion yen, which Ava had just grabbed from the witch. That alone was worth more than enough. The 20 billion yen pile of gold had skewed everyone else's sense of value. Or everyone, I think it added an else there. Everyone's sense of value is all it said. Yeah. People could kill over a few million yen, and this was a billion. Rosa, those are some famous last words there. A measly 300 million. You were too greedy. No doubt. Lucky me. I don't have to fish through her corpse. Now the real question is here, okay? I feel like right now we might be able to get the answer to whether or not one of these two is wearing the pants in terms of if I think they're responsible for shit going on. And that's if one of them kills the other. Now it would be pretty fucking heartless, but I feel like if anybody was going to do it, it would make more sense if Kiri did it, because at this time she still wouldn't know about the whole thing with Asumu, like with the, or sorry, I shouldn't say with Asumu. She wouldn't know about the nature of Battler's birth. At least as far as I understand it. Which means that if she killed Rudolph right now, I'd be like, you know what, Kiri, I get it. As Rudolph walked up to Ava's body, he found the card lying beside it and picked it up. So this thin little card is worth 1 billion yen. Keeping the company going feels ridiculous now. Should we close up shop and spend the rest of our lives in some southern country? That would just get boring. Besides, I'd like seeing you get all worried about some problem and play around like a little kid when you finally overcome it. Sure you do. Thank you, Miss Golden Witch. Rudolph and I will make good use of this billion. Proust promised to treat you in a gentlemanly fashion, but I haven't made any such promise. Is it gonna jam? Aw, fuck, I was hoping it would jam or something. She pulled the trigger without a trace of mercy. When the ringing of the gunfire died down, blood trickled from the witch's mouth and she fell over onto the bed. Once again, Curie ejected the used shell casing. The four metal sounds of used shells hitting the floor seemed to symbolize the fact that Rudolph and his wife now possessed all shares of the gold. All of them really were slow-witted. From the moment she explained about the bomb, the entire notion of playing nicely vanished from this island, and they failed to notice. Sorry about this, Aneki, Rosa. What can I say? That's just how the cookie crumbles. Cut me a break, okay? Aniki and Aneki got into a fight, Rosa gets dragged in, and I run away with the bone. Just the same way it's always been, right? At the start, Rudolph and Curie hadn't planned to kill everyone and take everything for themselves. Curie had quickly realized by the size of the gun in her hands that it would probably hold 5 rounds at a time. Yes, both Curie and Rudolph knew a lot about these guns. Rudolph, who had gotten his interest... Okay, so this is a good thing to do, so, They did say that, I think at some point in the past, that Rudolph had something to do with, or he was, like, interested in lever-action guns of some kind, or he was, like, a gun nut, or I don't know, I remember there's something being weirdly mentioned about it. Rudolph, who had gotten his interest in old-style Western guns from his father, owned a shotgun of a similar design. Since Curie had the same skill at handling firearms, they both knew enough about these guns to enjoy shooting together. Including the witch, there had been 8 people there. 6 people besides the 2 of them. Each gun held 5 rounds. That was 1 short. They didn't have enough to kill everyone. I was honestly surprised when they got into a fight and one of the guns went off. That coincidental accident had provided the missing bullet. It wasn't the second shot. The very first shot, which had accidentally killed Natsui, had guaranteed the result of this massacre. In this smoke and corpse-filled room of gold, the 2 of them wore easygoing smiles, hardly any different from the ones they usually wore. So, what now? Rudolph picked up Rose's gun, then he fired a test shot at the wall and ejected the old shell with a smooth... Can someone shoot me in the head? Because I'm smooth-brained apparently, because I can't fucking read. The old shell with a smooth motion like Curie's. Curie went to the box of bullets on the table, casually picked up a few and loaded them one after another into her gun. Set the bomb switch to on, then we just need to wait 24 hours. The others will make a lot of noise when they realize everyone's missing in the morning. Then we just need to shut them up. Guess so. What about Battler? He's your son, not mine. Don't say that. He really took a shine to you. He respects you, you know. Then think of something clever that'll convince him. I'll worry about Angie. You worry about Battler. Fair enough? Sure. I may be kind to my own child, but it's quite a struggle for me to treat Asumu's kid the same way. You understand, I hope. Okay, dude, this, like, if you didn't put it together now, this is, like, the ultimate, you know. The fact that Rudolph is sitting here like, I mean, this would be like the staring you in the face about that. Curie had acted warmly towards Battler because that had been the adult thing to do. He was Rudolph's son, so she just tried to avoid being unkind. But underneath, he was the son of Asumu, the woman whose death had done nothing to quell the hate Curie harbored towards her. Now that she had given birth to Angie and finally built up a new family, was Battler's return really such a happy thing for her? Brace yourself. Now that we've come this far, we can only go for the billion yen or die trying. If Battler is unconvinced, I'm sorry, but I won't be taking any chances. No need to threaten me. I'll take care of it. I'll find a good story to tell him. Make sure you do a good job of it. If Angie hears that Battler has died in an accident, I'm sure she'll be very sad. Sure. How do we start? We have nothing to gain by waiting for morning. Now is the best time. Oh, wonderful. Not even time for a break. Did she kill him, or is that just like to signify the end of that? I'm gonna go to the washroom real quick. I'm probably gonna take some medicine too, because I know why my sinuses are acting up. Okay, wait. I'll play it until that. If that ringing doesn't stop right away. Okay, it did. I'll be right back. Yeah, I'll be right back. Let me put a thing up on the screen. Shouldn't be too long. 1 sec. Okay, I'm back. Let us continue. A test? What is he thinking? At this time of night? Right now? Battler yelled wildly into the receiver. When he said at this time of night, George and Jessica turned to look. According to the clock, it was past midnight. Of course, the second I sit down, I get my fucking hiccups back. It might be a normal time to be told to brush their teeth and go to bed, but they couldn't understand what this test was all about. That's interesting, because the test happened in Thing as well, in episode 4. Okay, I'll hand it over. You're George. It's my dad. Hello? This is George speaking. Hey George. I'm sorry to call so late. I'll bet I didn't wake you though, right? You're all still up chatting away? Pretty much. Maria's sleeping. Oh wait, looks like she just woke up. So, what do you want to talk about? Ballard said something about a test? Yep. Dad can be such a pain sometimes. He suddenly came down from his room, a bunch of stuff happened, and he suddenly started talking about which grandchild would make the best successor. This is so interesting that there's such a big overlap of this with episode 4. Because it's the exact same thing too, right? I'm gonna write this down. Sorry, I'm just writing this as a note. How would that work over the course of episode 4, though? That I'm not sure. We'll see. But isn't Uncle Kraus the successor? He says that none of us are good enough to be the successor, so he's talking about skipping us adults and choosing from one of you grandchildren instead. It's really shaken us up having this forced on us all of a sudden. Aniki and the others are all arguing about it across the room. Maybe you can hear Aneki's shrill voice leaking through across the phone. Is that so? If that's what Grandfather says, then there's no way around it, I guess. So in that case, what should we do? He says he wants to call you out one by one, starting with Jessica. Oh my god, it starts with the same fucking order, too. It's even the same fucking order. If it was a little bit different order, you could maybe argue, but like, it's even the exact same fucking order, man. Oh, wait a second. Okay, you still there? Looks like George and Jessica will be the first up to bat. He wants Jessica to go to the parlor in the mansion. You're supposed to go out by the chapel. That's interesting because the location's different. It's so sudden I hardly feel ready. What sort of test is it? It looks like Dad's made some sort of crazy quiz. Some weird question about what it means to be the head. Of course, George felt as though something wasn't right. However, Kinzo was famous for doing radical things on a whim. Even this strange test seemed plausible once he heard that it was a sudden idea of Kinzo's. But even in that case, if he wanted to test them one by one, why wouldn't he call them out one by one? Like an interview, they should just have to wait in the reception room and go when they were called. Why would two people be called to different places at the same time? The plan didn't seem to make sense, which made George feel as though he was missing something. Still, I wonder why he wanted you to go to the chapel of all places. Seems your grandfather expects a lot from you. I'm not sure what it is, but I think he wants to talk to you about something alone. Grandfather wants to talk to me. I wonder what it is. You are the most accomplished of all his grandchildren, after all. I guess there's something he wants to tell you in particular. Well, anyway, that's what he says. Get over there right away. I'm also supposed to go there. Let's get this over with. We'll both catch cold. If we keep this up, it should be a cold. I don't know if you catch cold, like catch cold feet. Is that so? I see. Then I'll head towards the chapel. Jessica will go to the parlor. Okay. I'll see you in a bit then. Because what sort of test? What sort of private conversation could Kinzo want to have at this time of night? However, it was well known that Kinzo didn't have very long to live. It was conceivable that he had some sort of last words or some last words for each of his individual descendants. Inside George's mind, the faint feeling that something was wrong was replaced by curiosity and a desire to meet Kinzo directly and hear the details. George set down the receiver and quickly explained to the others. It's as you heard. Grandfather says he wants to give us all some kind of test. Eh? A test? After hiding in his study all these years, he decided to give us a pop quiz this late at night. Damn that old geezer. What's he thinking? Seems our parents feel the same way. It sounds as though they're very worked up about it. Well, I doubt getting worked up about it will change Grandfather's mind any. Exactly. You might as well accept it. It's the order of the head of the family, after all. Let's obey it. To start, Jessica and I are being called out. I'm going to the chapel. Jessica, you're supposed to go to the parlor in the mansion. What about Maria and me? I think they'll call about you later. You can wait here. Ugh, a midnight test. What could it be? What kind of test is it? A quiz? A puzzle? I'm really good at wolves and sheep puzzles. Ugh. Maria, who is now fully awake, seemed to be very excited about this unexpected midnight test. Then we'll just hang out here. Yes. Okay, I'm going. I think they're already waiting for us. So he's making one of his grandkids a successor? The successor. Sounds just great for me. Now I can let one of you guys deal with it. I'm gonna become the successor. I want to do it. Ooh. It'd be fun to have Marie as the successor. Bye. See you later. So we might be getting our answers weirdly to episode 4 here, because episode 4 was the only one in the whole will thing that I felt we weren't really getting a good answer to. Rudolph put down the receiver and stood up. Okay, guess I'm going to the chapel. It's damn cold out there. Goda, have some coffee waiting for me when I get back, will you? Next to Rudolph, Goda was lying face up. His face was covered by a crossword puzzle book. However, its pages were stained with blood, and there was no need to move the book to imagine how he had met his pitiful end. How was it? A nice script, don't you think? Yep. We should be thanking Dad. All we've got to do is say it's him being fickle and no one thinks to doubt it. Hee. Then let's split up. I'll take care of Jessica. You take care of George. Now this will be interesting. I think if we find Cannon... Oh, I'm dropping frames right now. I didn't even realize. I'm recording anyway, so it doesn't really matter too much. I'm just going to keep going. It just means I'll probably have to upload the recording. I'm not dropping that much, so it's not that big of a deal. This is why we record client-side. You got it. Let's get this over with quickly, then relax with some coffee. There won't be any problems, yes? No sudden pangs of conscience? Kiri smiled coldly. It probably would have been safer to call them out one by one and finish them off together. However, Kiri had chosen to have her husband work separately. Sorry, that read... I was reading that as her and her husband. But no. But what I was saying is that I wonder if we're going to get an answer. Like, if they kill Cannon here, I'll be more confused. But she wanted to measure Rudolph's resolve. If she was the only one who got her hands dirty and Rudolph just watched, his heart would not be as dedicated to this venture. By having him dirty his own hands, she could make him truly determined to see this thing through. Kiri understood this sort of mind game better than anyone else. Rudolph reflexively averted his gaze from the cold glint in her eyes, but then he just shrugged and answered her question. Of course, we have 1 billion yen riding on this. Oh man, I'm not going to miss a chance that'll never come again in my lifetime. I expected no less of you, Rudolph. I love people who seize chances when they come. That's why I fell in love with you. Thanks. I'm glad. Rudolph. What? You will stay. Huh? What did you say? You will stay. The same Rudolph that I love, right? Of course. When have I ever let you down? Instead of that, you should be worrying more about the kind of champagne we'll use to toast our victory. I'll do that. Take care now. If you really treasure Battler, don't kill George in front of the chapel, okay? It'll be a pain if he finds a corpse. Yeah, I know. I'll lure him away somehow. It's raining outside. Should be some way to do it. And you aren't a villain in some old western, got it? Don't grant any last requests or ask for any last words, okay? Kiri lifted up her gun and pulled on the lever. To eject the casing from the bullet she'd killed Yoda with. Yeah, I was wondering about that, so put that in the thing here. Kiri kills Goda, or killed, I should say. So the only people that we still don't know about, Kumasawa, Genji Nanjo, potentially Cannon. Cannon's the most interesting one here. The internet was being a bit fucky today, so it's not too surprising that something happened, but it's fine. This is why you record client-side. Hell yeah, brother. Gotta put that extra storage to use. Honey. Honey. Ava was holding Hideyoshi's body and crying. She hadn't been shot at all. The bullet had grazed the side of her head and missed. Ooh, so Ava's not dead. She hadn't been playing dead. She really thought that she had been shot. When Kiri's gun spat fire, Ava felt something swift and fierce scrape past her head, before feeling lightheaded and fainting. Then later on she woke up in the now silent room of the gold. The corpse of her beloved husband lay beside her, along with the corpses of Kraus, Nansui, and Rosa. It was a room of death and piled up bodies. I kinda want Ava to get her get back now, though. When she had cried all she could over Hideyoshi's body, she realized that she still had something she needed to do. George is in danger. George! They're trying to use the bomb to blow up everything to bury this whole island with an explosion accident. Ava checked the clock and was proven right. As expected, the switch was set to the right, which meant that it was active. Ava moved to flip it to the left and stopped. No, you don't want to flip it to the left yet. You have enough time that you don't need to do this, and if you flip it to the left, if one of them comes back and goes to this room and looks, they'll see that you flipped it, and they'll know that something is up. To be fair, they will know because your body's missing anyways, but That's right. As long as the switch points to the right, everything that happens on this island will disappear into a night of illusion. Yes, this is an illusion. No matter what happens tonight, everything will become muddled and hidden away. They're gonna kill everyone else. That has to be it. I'm sure of it. When she looked at the table with the box of bullets, she saw signs they had grabbed several large handfuls of bullets from the box. It clearly showed that they planned to use that many bullets. I have to fight, if only to protect just the life of my precious son. The gun that I dropped when I shot is stuck with the lever handle open. No matter how hard I pull, it won't open any further and it won't close again. A bullet must have gotten jammed and broken it. It's just as Kiri said. Loading a bullet is tough if you haven't used it. Or if you aren't used to it, sorry. Please, honey, lend me your strength. Help me protect George. Lend me your strength. Sorry, I keep yawning now. In Hideyoshi's hand was Krause's gun, which he had been trying to pick up. Ava took it, prayed to her husband one more time, and tugged on the lever handle. With a light metallic sound, the golden casing spun through the air and bounced off the ground. When she timidly tried to push the lever back, this time it returned to its original place without any resistance. There was another metallic clang. It was the sound of a new bullet being loaded. I figured it'd be something like this. Someone scheming to show me the game that disgusts me the most so they can laugh at me. In the game so far, various people have been suspected of being the culprit or an accomplice. The only difference now was that Rudolph and Kiri were those suspects. However, that was the most aggravating development possible for Angie. Even Leon was full of painful thoughts. They had been lucky enough to solve the epitaph, which was the only miracle that could lead to a game with no victims. However ironic that they were unable to prevent this tragedy. Does this mean that we aren't allowed to have a future where we all happily return from this island alive, even if the epitaph is miraculously solved before the crime occurs? There will be absolutely no miracles. I recalled those words which I had heard in one of the fragments Burncastle had shown me. Burncastle, you showed me how wonderful my world was. I don't want to believe that you created this tale just to hurt Angie. By now even I realize that you're the game master here. Please tell me, why are you showing us this game? Of course, no one answered Leon's muttered question. The game created to mock Angie continued emotionlessly, with more terrible twists that didn't betray anyone's expectations anymore. Huh. Show whatever terrible game you like. You're trying to say that this is the one, or this is one of the endless possibilities inside the cat box, right? Just do whatever you want. I won't let something like this get to me. Someday I'll find out the truth of what happened on October 5th, 1986. After meeting Kiri in the parlor, Jessica was told the test would be held in the dining hall and she followed Kiri there. Auntie Kiri, there's no one here. He'll be here soon. Sit over there. Jessica sat in that chair looking nervous and agitated. Kiri was by far the calmer of the two. Kiri closed the door behind her, revealing the gun that rested behind it. Jessica was facing the other way, so she saw nothing. Did you hear anything, Auntie Kiri? You know what kind of test this is? Yes. It'll be over soon. I sure hope so. As she complained, Jessica turned her head around and the tip of her nose bumped into cold metal. Huh? Uncle Rudolph, what are you doing? Just gonna bring myself to shoot you in the back. Careful, guns are dangerous. What on earth are you doing? You really had to ask why someone point a gun and pull the trigger. Rudolph reloaded rapidly and pulled the trigger again without any sign of hesitation. Ooh. As the sound of gunfire thundered throughout the rain, George grabbed at his side and fell to his knees. It's weird. Looks like it shoots low. This gun's really got it bad. Somebody help me! Uncle Rudolph is... George started stumbling away, still clutching at his side. His voice as he called for help was weak and thin. Behind him, Rudolph looked perfectly calm as he fiddled with his gun and inspected the sights. It hurts, it hurts. The gouging pain in George's side tormented him. It was so painful that he could barely stand and walk. He leaned against the trunk of a tree. After he crouched down trying to cover his wound, he was no longer able to stand back up. George didn't have a clue what was going on. However, he thought it was strange the whole time. Of course, it was strange that he should be called out to a place like this at a time like this. And yet, how could he have guessed that something was wrong? After all, his own uncle had told him that his grandfather was calling for him from the family conference. How could he have gotten suspicious? Sorry about this, George. It hurts, doesn't it? If I knew it'd be like this, I'd have been more merciful to blow your brains out from behind. I thought it'd be too cruel to finish you off before you knew it hit you, but it looks like I got it backwards. Why? Uncle Rudolph, why would my kind uncle do this? Just forget about all this. By tomorrow night, none of it will have happened. With a quick use of the lever handle, he loaded another bullet. The casing of the bullet that had pierced George's side fell heartlessly in front of him. Everyone's gonna die in a sudden, unfortunate accident. Until that moment, we'll all have been a big, happy family. That's how it's gonna be. So don't worry about this. Forget it all. Of course, George didn't have a clue what Rudolph was talking about. All he knew was that Rudolph wanted to kill him, and that he showed no trace of hesitation. The image George had of Rudolph as the ideal, cool, joke-loving adult didn't match up with the Rudolph standing in front of him holding a gun. I'm sorry if you hear shit. My roommates are banging something upstairs, like they're dropping something. It sounds like I can keep hearing it, but... No, maybe it didn't fit because it fit too well. Even though there was a gun in his hands, Rudolph had a huge smile on his face as though he was about to tell some hilarious joke. Why would this kind, funny Uncle Rudolph do this? It made him feel unimaginably sad, and tears flowed from his eyes. Cool, show me like a grotesque scene of George's brains getting plastered all over that tree. Uncle Rudolph, I admired you so much. Haven't I always told you, George? To make sure you don't end up as an adult like me? Now you see. In the next world, make it your first priority to learn how to recognize a real bastard. I know you can do it. After all, it's just another kind of studying. Biting down the pain in his side and summoning the last of his strength, George threw his whole body into a roundhouse kick. At the same time, fire spat from Rudolph's gun. The bullet pierced George's chest. George twisted and fell as blood gushed from the wound. He moaned wordlessly, clenching blood-stained teeth. The frigid gun was pressed harshly against his temple. So long. Go become a great man in the next world. Don't get blinded by money like me. I can't believe that my uncle would kill for money. You're so innocent. People can kill for money. The ruthless trigger forestalled any further questions. George's hands, which had been covering his wound, dropped lifelessly. After Rudolph saw the last glimmer of life leave him, he let out a deeply exhausted sigh he'd been holding back for some time. I expected worse. Rudolph looked up into the dark, rainy sky, the raindrops hitting him full in the face, and laughed with an indescribable expression, his tongue hanging out. I figured my conscience would be giving me a harder time, and now that it's over, I'm surprised how little I feel. Rudolph started laughing. This was probably just the thing Curie had hoped for. It had taken some effort to kill George. Though he had been merciless, the last traces of conscience in Rudolph's heart had probably slowed him down. However, now that he had killed someone with his own hands, a turning point that few people ever reach, Rudolph had finally awakened. No, he finally understood. It's exactly the same as screwing suckers out of their money. The same old game of musical chairs. When there's a pile of money up for grabs, there's no prize for taking your time. The slow ones just get kicked down to hell. I've scammed dozens of unfortunate saps and buried them in debt. Several of them probably ended up bankrupt, and some of those might have hanged themselves. And I always laughed, saying that it wasn't my problem. That's all there is to it. The only difference now is that for the first time, I've dealt the final blow with my own hands. Thanks, Curie. You're always the best at cutting away my naivete. And then laugh. Rudolph's evil laugh rang out. The laugh was so purely evil it was almost refreshing. Evil that still has a conscience, and thinks itself good is far more repulsive to behold. If a man commits himself to an evil act, how much more pleasant and graceful is it when he is honest about his intentions? Or I think it said it is instead of is it. In that sense, Rudolph's evil smile and laugh truly were pleasant and graceful. Yeah, so where's Ave at? And so, surely the brutal, bloody stage of the dining hall was also refreshing. A clang, a thud, a crack, a squish. A strange mixture of these sounds kept repeating over and over at the same tempo. Each time a red splash landed on the nearby dangling tablecloth. Jessica, are you listening? Kiri asked this with the sort of smile any aunt might give to her niece. However, Jessica didn't answer. There was nothing particularly surprising about this. After all, by now, her nose was broken, her eyes had been smashed, her teeth had been knocked out, and not only her nose, but her entire face was now hardly recognizable as a face, just a lump of bloody flesh. Kiri finally stopped her task of repeatedly smashing Jessica's face with the stock of her gun. Still sitting on top of Jessica, Kiri tossed her gun to the side, pulled a compact out of her pocket, and looked at her own face in the mirror. Then finally, she realized that her face was covered by speckles of fresh blood. How terrible. These clothes will have to go too. Episode 6, Jessica's fight against Kiri. Does Jessica fight against Kiri in episode 6? I don't remember anything happening in episode 6 with Jessica and Kiri. With a muffled laugh, Kiri shakily rose to her feet. Jessica wasn't moving anymore. She'd been convulsing a bit until a second ago, but now she was still as stone. When it comes to punching women in the face, your aunt is an old pro. Sorry about that. If you hadn't resisted, I could have let you have a much cleaner death. Kiri pulled the tablecloth off and used it like a towel to wipe the blood from all over her body. However, instead of taking the blood off, it just smeared it around. It did nothing to remove the stench of blood and death that covered her. When she got tired of smearing blood over the tablecloth, Kiri walked over to the extension telephone in the corner of the room. Then she dialed a number for the cousin's room in the guest house. Hello, it's me. It's your turn now, Battler. You're next to go to the front of the chapel. Yes, that's right. I haven't been given any instructions about Maria. Have her wait there. Hee hee. Yes, take it seriously. I'm rooting for you to be chosen as a successor. With the same smile as usual and the partly wiped splashes of blood still covering her face, Kiri finished her call to Battler. When she set down the receiver, there was a small knock, and Rudolph came back into the room. Whoa, what a mess. Jessica has better reflexes than I gave her credit for. I didn't expect her to knock the gun away when she did. It's a bit of a shame she had to end up looking like this. What a waste of the good looks she got from Natsui. Oh, I see what you're saying. Wait. Oh, yes. Sorry, you're right. Yes, I do remember now. I didn't even remember that. I can't believe that lapsed my mind. Yes, you're right. Because Jessica killed Kiri, George killed Ava. Interesting. And how about your end? Did he give you much trouble? No problems there. Plain and simple. When Kiri heard Rudolph's instant response, she favored him with an evil smile. Yes, the man she loved was the sort who could do whatever he put his mind to without letting cheap emotions get in the way. I love you, Rudolph. I wouldn't have it any other way. Hard to imagine an easier job to net you 1 billion yen. It's like Dad always said, in the life of every man there comes one day where he has to be willing to kill. In other words, always be willing to kill if your own survival depends on it. That's my favorite of the things he used to say. What's next? My rifle is hungry for blood. You get a big job coming up, convincing Battler. Ah, that's right. That'll be a pain. Hope I don't have to end it by pulling the trigger. I'm fond of it, you know. Our little family of 3 with Angie. But if you really want Battler to join in on that, good luck. Sure. I'm not going to give him the room to argue back. Don't worry, I've worked out a scenario to trick him good. Good luck. I do hope for Angie's beloved big brother not to get caught up in an explosion accident if it can be avoided. I know. Alright, I'm heading back to the chapel. Rudolph. What? If Battler doesn't buy it. I know. If it comes to that, bang. Remember, Battler is the type to take action, so much that he left the family out of protest when I married you. If your story to him isn't airtight and he starts questioning things later on, he'll prove fatal to us. I know. Believe in me. So, if I decide that Battler is the least bit suspicious, I'll kill him myself. He's not my kid after all. Yeah, I know. So Kiri, promise me one thing. What's that? If I can trick Battler and the 3 of us make it off this island, yes. Never say that Battler isn't your kid again. You're his mother. Please. Sure, I promise. I mean, once again, if this wasn't already clear enough, I think we already reasoned into it, but I think that's like his admission there without actually making it a big scene. But Kiri shrugged and answered as she loaded bullets. You go to the chapel. I'll wait until Battler is left, then clean up everything inside the guest house. Sure you'll be alright doing that alone. You worry about yourself. Battler left the guest house under an umbrella. He'd been called to the area in front of the chapel just like George had been. Not even half an hour had passed since the time George and Jessica had been called out. Apparently this test didn't last too long. Damn geezer. You didn't even show up for lunch and now you show up in the middle of the night with a test. I'll bet living as a shut-in's got his sense of day and night all backwards. Complaining all the way, Battler strolled off into the rain. Almost immediately he was swallowed up by the darkness of the rose garden and passed out of sight. And then, Kiri could be seen coming out from the darkness of the rose garden. Her right hand held a gun, her left an umbrella. Her inner pocket contained the master key ring she had stolen from Goda. Her right pocket had a handful of bullets. Her left held a knife she had taken from the kitchen. She was carefully and perfectly outfitted. I can't read that. She was a carefully and perfectly outfitted murderer. Yeah, I think Kiri would potentially kill him. I wouldn't be surprised. I was thinking about this in the past, if Kiri would kill Rudolph when she found out. I think I even brought this up in one of the previous streams, but I had reason that it couldn't have been Kiri that was killing him because she still never... Like, Rudolph died and he still didn't reveal what had happened. So yeah, I'm not too sure exactly. Kiri obviously has a killer instinct. She's able to kill, so it's not really too surprising now, I guess, but... Another bolt of lightning struck down from the swirling skies. And of course, my dumbass hasn't clicked into the game. It lit up only half of Kiri's face. Her cheek was still covered with Jessica's blood. Under the eaves, Kiri folded up her umbrella, smiled, and spoke to no one. How's it going, everyone? So he had a little subtle confession there. Rudolph could be seen under the eaves of the chapel. He had hidden his gun in the nearby shadows and was now smoking a cigarette. This would be a really bad time for Ava to pull up. Should be easy to trick that dimwit, and if it doesn't work, that's just too bad. He glanced over the place he had stowed his gun. The cigarette smoke began to pleasantly cloud his mind. Battler isn't a kid anymore. He's an adult who can choose his path through life as he pleases. When animals grow up, it's normal for them to leave their group and go on a journey. Humans are the only ones that keep treating them like kids even after they get big. If it was going to come to this, I should never have begged you to come back. I don't know why I can't read today, guys. I'm serious. I don't know what's going on. If it was going to come to this, I should never have begged for you to come back. I regret dragging you back into the family. It's kind of fucked because it seems like Rudolph does still care about Battler. Like, it does seem like he still loves him. But Rudolph does seem to be a little bit of a bad dude. He puffed out those words along with the smoke. When Battler came, he didn't intend to voice those regrets of his. Rudolph had already determined to play the part of the evil murderer who kills for money. He's still not here. What's taking him so long? At that moment, he heard the sound of someone stepping on gravel. I mean, I've had suspicions about them because they're just so, like... Mainly Rudolph, but, like, Kiri... the only reason why I've had suspicions on Kiri is because I believe that she would do anything for Rudolph. I had suspicions on both of them because there's just something... Again, they're so inconspicuous. They're the only... Like, Rudolph is the only sibling that would die every single time with, like, no info attached. Like, Kraus would die, but, like, we'd have a little bit of Kraus scenes. You'd see him, like, talking not to... We had, like, no scenes about... Literally, like, the first, like, few big scenes were in, like, episode 4 with Kiri, and Rudolph was dead already, or air quote dead again. I'm not too sure what's going on there. I wouldn't be surprised now. I think episode 4 might have been a Rudolph and Kiri thing. Because it's all starting to line up with the whole, like, calling people out for the tests. It's starting to make a little bit of sense. I don't know, I'm just trying to think about... I don't want to wait too long. We'll see. I'm not even going to guarantee we'll do the theory stream now, after this. Because I might want to think on some of the stuff after... Because I've already got some revelations over the course of this. Regardless, it'll be soon. It'll be like tomorrow, if not, or I'll do it before I start episode 8. I don't think the episode 7 theory stream will take too long. Regardless, let me continue. And I'm sorry, my roommates are banging shit. I don't know what they're doing. It sounds like they're moving furniture. It always does. It probably doesn't come through on the mic, but it's very loud to me, so I assume it does. He looked up, thinking Battler had finally arrived, but the sound had came from the direction opposite of the mansion. It's gotta be Ava, right? Ho 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 ho. Rudolph, how could you? How could you do that to my husband? Aneki, So you're alive? Yeah, sorry, but I lived. I lived, bitch. Too bad. But my husband wasn't so lucky. How could you? How could you? With the face obscured by anger and tears, Ava slowly walked closer, her gun raised. Her husband had been killed right in front of her. She probably wouldn't even hesitate. Realizing that a gun, quivering with anger, was pointed right at his chest, Rudolph backed away. As he pretended to back away, he approached the gun he had hidden in the shadows. Calm down, Umineko. Put the gun down. I never wanted that to happen. Everything happened so fast, there was nothing I could do. How can you say such half-baked lies? As Ava had said, it really had been a half-baked, pointless thing to say. Rudolph would have said anything if he thought it would calm Ava's emotions before she pulled the trigger, which she looked capable of doing at any moment now. Then Rudolph's foot came in contact with his gun. Let's just talk this over. George should be here soon. Oh! Hey, George, we're over here. Rudolph waved as though George was coming from behind Ava. Let Ava's attention turn in that direction. That idiot. My simple big sister has always been a sucker. Die. The only thing is, Battler might walk in on him just having killed Ava. Gunfire. It was a Rudolph or Ava. Then a bit later, the sound of something heavier than rain drip-dropping onto the cobblestone floor. Rudolph, I've always been able to see through your tricks. The bullet Ava fired had struck Rudolph square in the chest. The bullet Rudolph had fired had missed, landing near Ava's feet. Guess I was right. This gun does shoot. Low. He dropped the gun into a puddle with a splash, staggered backwards, and leaned against the wall of the chapel. Nah, that's not it. All good westerns end with the bad guy's bullet missing. Ava dashed up to him, kicked away the gun that had fallen into a puddle, and grabbed Rudolph by the collar. What about George? Where is he? I won't let you kill him. Sorry, Umineko. The deed's already done. You're lying. I did it in the bushes over there. Go take a look. You'll see. Rudolph. You. Ava, who said she had always been able to see through her little brother's tricks, also knew that Rudolph's final words as his consciousness began to fade from having been shot were not a lie. How could you? George! George! An empty shell casing bounced off the cobblestone. The furious gun barrel was pressed against Rudolph's forehead. Go ahead and shoot. I doubt that'll bring you much peace, then. Now Battler's gonna walk up on Rudolph having just been, executed by Ava. A bolt of lightning turned everything white. However, the wall of the chapel was stained blood red. A red splash like a crushed tomato covered the wall behind Rudolph's head. Then, leaving a red trail behind him, Rudolph slid down the wall, sat on the ground, and fell over. George! 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 Ava dashed off towards the bushes. She found George's corpse, almost immediately screamed and broke down sobbing. Rudolph's bloody corpse was exposed to the rain that ran down off the eaves. His eyes were still wide open. A ragged fist-sized hole had been torn open in the back of his head, exposing its contents to the open air. Inside was minced flesh and bright red jelly. That goop, which looked like someone had mixed it up with a spoon, dripped from his eyes, nose, ears, mouth, and the hole in his head. Dad! Dad! Angie clutched at her head, sobbing and moaning. Her father had dirtied his hands with murder over money, and on top of that, he had faced such a cruel end. And Angie had been forced to see his corpse. It was hard to imagine a more painful experience for a daughter to go through. I'm totally fed up with this. It's completely meaningless. Burncastle, I know you're here somewhere. Please make this game stop. There's no point to it. As if in an answer to that yell, a black shadow appeared a few seats in front of them. Oh, she actually did pull up again. Or perhaps she had been sitting there the whole time. Maybe we just couldn't see her until we realized she was there. It was without a doubt the back of Burncastle's head. Burncastle! Pipe down back there. Can't you watch the show quietly? The witch turned around with bored eyes, as though the two who were yelling were the strange ones. Please stop this. We realize that this world is the sealed Catbox world of October 4th and 5th. The games are like messages, or maybe more like a roundabout love letter, conveying a single message over several games. But we already understand. We know the endless tales can seep out of the sealed 2-day Catbox. And beyond that, I even know the culprit and the motive. That has already been revealed, and it has nothing to do with this game. We both know the answer. This is a Catbox tale, so there shouldn't be any reason to hold further games like this. If this is supposed to be a game between you and us, then we already know the answer. The game should be able to end now. Just shut up already. Lambda, first appearance in like a hot minute. I think it's her first appearance in the whole episode. Didn't you hear Byrne tell you to be quiet? Another shadow appeared in the next seat over, turned around and scolded the bear. There is a point. If you just watch, you'll see it. Hehehehe. Are you the game master? Not at all. Then who is it? Could it be Claire? If you watch, you'll see. Not much longer now. Hehehehe. The tragedy is already reaching its climax. Who will survive, I wonder? Burncastle isn't the game master? Then who is? Could Claire have created this cruel tale? Or are there even more witches playing around with this cat box? I mean, could be Featherine. Could also be, what do you call it? Could be Claire. Could be Lambda. Never really ruled that out there, but considering the episode 6 tea party, I would imagine if it's not Burncastle, it's Featherine, but the guest house was wrapped in silence. There were no sounds, no trace of anyone's presence, no breathing from anyone alive. There wasn't anything to be heard anymore. If there was a sound, then that would be only the sound of a murderer's feet stepping across the floor. Kiri slowly passed through the lounge. In her right hand was a gun, in her left hand was a knife. The knife was stained with blood. Oh, I did not mean to fucking... I have my caps lock key set to control, so I accidentally hit it there. The knife was stained with blood, and some was still dripping from the tip, leaving behind red tracks like a demon's footprints. Her hands were filled with tools of murder, so she wasn't capable of doing anything but murder. In that sense, at this moment, she was nothing more than a pure and unadulterated murderer. The murderer reached the front door, and then finally she looked down at her blood-stained hands. The hands that carried the tools of death with which she had performed her cruel massacre. At last the murderer realized that she couldn't even open the door like this and threw away the knife in her left hand. Then she placed her hand on the door, turned around calmly, and spoke. Sorry everyone, but don't worry. In a few days the newspaper will be talking about an unfortunate accident. And I'm sure that the news shows, newspapers, and all the rumor-spreading people will say that you must have spent your time in a happy ignorance until the instant of the accident. I can't fucking read today, man! I can't read today! Holy fuck! Reading from the top. Sorry everyone, but don't worry. In a few days, the newspapers will be talking about an unfortunate accident, and I'm sure the news shows, newspapers, and all rumor-spreading people will say that you must have spent your time in happy ignorance until the instant of the accident. I want to say island. I almost did it again, instant of the accident. In other words, that'll mean you all had a good time until the midnight on October 5th. So said the one who had stained the guest house red. At this hour, the cousins are all staying up late and playing around. The servants who have the morning shift are all snoring. The ones on the late shift are probably filling in the log or taking a break about now. That's how it is. From where I am now, I can hear the laughter coming from the cousins' room. Hee hee. Humans outside the cat box would probably never understand what Kiri was saying. Only she, shut inside the cat box of the explosion accident, could understand the true meaning of her words. I think the whole point of this is supposed to be that Kiri, if she intends to be the survivor of this tale, which obviously you would assume she would be, at least with how it's being told, that she is the one who can tell you. She's the one that can describe, like, what's happening. I don't know why I can't read today. I think I burned myself out earlier on audio shit. My brain's just fucking mush. Outside, the rain poured down heavily. Kiri almost picked up an umbrella, but then stopped suddenly as if she'd just thought of something. Then she started walking out into the rain, not caring at all whether she got wet or not. She's gonna wash off all the blood. Did the murderer not want an umbrella to get in the way of her pointing her gun? Sorry. Or was she hoping that the rain could act as a shower to get the blood off her? Kiri stopped walking, as though something unexpected had caught her attention. However, this time it was no whim of hers. How could you? Kill my husband. Oh, Ava. That's surprising. How could I have missed you from that distance? I'm just as surprised. I still can't believe I survived. You came here from the underground stairway behind the chapel, right? In that case. That's right. I bumped into Rudolph in front of the chapel. Did he look well? Oh yes. It's been a while since we siblings had a nice chat. I see. He's such a show-off, but so unreliable in a tight spot. It looks like he's hopeless without me after all. Kiri had already realized that Rudolph had been killed. However, no trace of urgency or panic rose to her face. She just closed her eyes with her usual unconcerned expression. And when she opened them again, she had regained her composed smile. Thank you. I'm grateful. Now I really can have everything to myself. What's that blood on your clothes? You just came out of the guest house, didn't you? Don't tell me. Yeah, that's right. I'm in the middle of a murder right now. You killed them? All of them? Even Maria? There was no reason to let them live until morning. When morning came, there would be an uproar, and that could prove to be a pain. They might have used a wireless to contact someone off the island and gotten help. So this was clearly the best move to take. If you flip over the chessboard and look at it that way. Monster! Good show. I can't believe you're so blinded by greed that you committed murder. Don't forget what you did yourself. That was an accident. I didn't mean to kill them. I'm not like you. Oh yes, you are. If that gun hadn't gone off, you would have kept on arguing and grappling with each other. If you hadn't, the two of you would eventually have reached the same answer as I did, just a few steps slower. I'm not a murderer. Not true. You're absolutely a murderer, just one who didn't get a chance. You were saved by an accidental discharge. That's all. If it weren't for that bit of good luck, and if I hadn't sprung into action before you did, then you would have played the same role I'm playing right now. That is a fact. The truth of an alternate future, and it won't go away no matter how much you try to deny it. Don't try and confuse me. However, on the inside, Ava understood. Back then, she probably had been saved by that coincidental misfire. If the argument had continued much longer, she would surely have grown a desire to kill Kraus and the others, and might even have carried it out. She simply could not deny the existence of that demon deep within her heart. Only the theatergoers knew. They knew that she could become a killer in another world. And Kiri, who did not have the theater-going ability, knew this fact also. Apparently, she really was an extraordinary person. I'm starting to get some heavy witch vibes from Kiri. So for some time, Ava could only grind her teeth in silence, still pointing her gun. I don't understand. You're also a mother. You felt the pain of giving birth to your own child. How can you not know how precious a life is? How are you capable of doing all this? You can create a child without even trying. What does that have to do with anything? Children are bonds, is what I mean. What? Children are bonds that can tie you to your husband. In my case, a bond to make Rudolph acknowledge me so I could take him back from that woman. But you've killed Rudolph now, so you understand what that means, right? What do you mean? I understand. Right now, I'm no man's wife, so there's no need for me to be a mother. I am me, Kiri. Now that Rudolph's dead, I'm not even an Ushiramiya anymore. I live to benefit me. Right, Rudolph is dead, so maybe you aren't a wife anymore, but you still have Angie, right? You're still a mother, aren't you? Didn't you hear what I just said about bonds? Now that Rudolph is gone, Angie is of no use to me. You... How can any mother say that about her own daughter? Ava, let's put a stop to this. Stop pretending to be so noble. Pretending? Did either of us marry because we wanted children? We didn't, right? We married because we wanted to live with the man we loved. And once you've married, you never want to let that man go for the rest of your life, correct? Children are weapons to be used for that goal. Kiri about to fucking put on her, like, antinatalist hat. This is why childbirth is bad. No one would have children for a reason like that. Some people would have children for a reason like that. Kiri kept on speaking emotionlessly, ignoring the falling rain. Her relaxed smile did not falter for an instant. Angie was just a chain I used to tie Rudolph to me. Or you could call her a chess piece. Someone to play the role of the kid in our family drama. To me, Angie was nothing more than a piece, necessary so that I could act the part of a good mother in front of Rudolph. You... How could you say that? Or could you say that to Angie's face? Of course. That'd be pointlessly cruel. So, I won't say this to her directly. I plan to write her a letter asking her to forgive her bad mother and vanish from her life. You've seen what Rosa and Maria are like, right? Now that Rudolph's gone, Angie's just a chain tying me down. I'll go back to being just Kiri and enjoy the rest of my life at my leisure. A new challenge and a new life. And maybe even a new love. And you call yourself human? You call yourself Angie's mother? Who gives a damn about Angie? She's a little brat. I didn't know we had another Charlie XCX fan on the island. I guess it makes sense because Rudolph was. I've never once felt any affection for her. How can you? You've been released from your family drama too, haven't you? Let's sing the praises of a woman's freedom. You should thank me for having George killed for you. You monster! Okay, it's very interesting. Sorry, I'm just writing down in my notes about the statement that Kiri just made. Okay. The two yells and the sound of gunfire thundered across the dark rose garden. Slowly, Ava fell backwards. Then she landed in a puddle, scattering countless drops of water. That's the tough part. I don't know if Kiri meant all that. It's like a half and half for me right now. Because I can see... How do I word this? I can almost view it as though Kiri is acting this way because of Rudolph being gone, and I don't know if she would say that otherwise. Because given everything that happened, the only thing that I'm thinking in my head is I don't really understand why Kiri would have had Angie if that was the case, because of the whole timeline of everything. I guess I don't really know the exact date that it would have happened. I don't know Angie's birthday, and I don't know when Battler left the family, but it would have been within the same year at some point, because Angie is 6 years old at the time of the family conference. To me, I'm just not sure if it really would have mattered. I don't think she means that. I think she means it right now, in this fragment, in this world. I don't know if she necessarily means that all the time. I also don't know if I view Kiri as being purely... She has like this like ruthless like utilitarian view of like everything. If she's even viewing just a kid as a way to tie Rudolph down. Because like the way that I view that statement and everything that she said, which I mean I think this is the only thing that you could really take from it, is that she fell in love with Rudolph, she really only cared about Rudolph, and that children were like a means to have something more to tie somebody down. And that's basically what Asumu did with Rudolph, which again, I'm assuming at this point Kiri doesn't have any knowledge. Well, I guess it still hasn't technically been confirmed, although Rudolph saying that one line earlier, I've been convinced for a while now, because I think it's the only thing that makes sense, that Battler is Kiri's kid. I think that the only reason why she has that view is because she doesn't know that Battler is her kid. Because otherwise, that statement doesn't really make much sense. The only reason why that even follows, or why she could even view it through that lens, is if she thinks that Asumu is Battler's, or that Battler is Asumu's kid, and that he was used to tie Rudolph down to pull Rudolph away from her, and then she had Angie as a way to kind of do the exact same thing. But that whole reasoning sort of falls apart. Again, she doesn't know that, so I understand why she operates in this manner, but I guess I would say I don't think Kiri... I think she means it right now. I don't know if she believes it totally. Especially because the whole timeline with Angie, again, I don't know the exact like timeline down to like the moment of conception and the moment of birth, but I feel like she didn't really need to have Angie after the whole thing with Asumu dying, because it wouldn't really be... but I guess Battler's... I don't know. It's hard to say. But I'll stick with my initial statement that I don't think she means it all the time, but she definitely means it right now. And I think that if she finds Battler in this timeline, I think she will kill him. But we'll see. Then she landed in a puddle, scattering countless drops of water. Across from her, Kiri spun around as though dancing. Beautiful black rose petals scattered around her. They were dark red rose petals. As these rose petals sprayed from her throat, she spun around in a circle and slowly crumpled. Oh wait, it was Kiri that got shot. Ava killed her. Unless I'm misreading that. Unless they killed each other. Then she fell to the ground, sending muddy water flying. The two women had both fired their guns and fallen. Okay, yeah, they killed each other. They got that double KO. However, when the thunder roared, it was only Ava who sat back up. So Ava's is non-fatal. Or at least, it could be a mortal wound. She's not dead yet. Dude, Ava stay winning. Ava hadn't been shot. Kiri's intensity had made her fall backwards, but the bullet had once again only grazed her. Holy fuck, bro, you are like chosen. Ava cursed her good luck. Why couldn't this luck have saved her husband or her son? Die there, for Angie's sake. You'll be killed in the explosion accident. Until the moment of your death, you worried about the daughter you left behind. I'll carve that message into the lid of the cat box. When Kiri heard this, blood dripped from her grinning mouth, and she seemed to say something in response. However, her voice came out only as globs of blood from the hole in her throat, not words. Mom. Mom. It's a lie. It's all a lie. So I'm gonna guess that Ava is the one running this game. I mean, we even heard Ava speak at the start of this, right? With the, like, why don't you just shut up and die or whatever forever. Is this somehow a game that Ava is presenting? This would be, like, the game... I wonder if this is supposed to illustrate the world in which Ava is, like, the sole survivor. The only thing is that I don't really understand the whole murder thing. I don't know. I mean, it seems different, but kind of the same, regardless. Angie, please calm down. This is just a game. That couldn't possibly be what your mother truly feels. It's just something that the game master made Aunt Curious Peace say. But saying that did nothing to calm Angie's sobs. I don't blame her. Even if she knows it's just a game, she's been forced to see not only her mother's death, but also her mother announcing that she was the culprit of a mass murder who didn't even love her daughter. Anyone would sob after hearing that. Burncastle, enough of this. I don't care who the game master is. Stop this pointless game right now. When Leon yelled as the theater suddenly went pitch black, swallowed in darkness. However, that wasn't enough to shock Leon. Leon continued to yell Burncastle's name into the darkness, telling the witch to stop the game. Then a single beam of light shone down upon the stage. So let me put my glasses back on. I took them off. Maybe it's why I can't read. There was Claire, the one who'd appeared for just a second right before the cruel game beginning. The cruel game's beginning, or did that say cruel game beginning? Cruel game began. I can't read, guys. I don't know what's going on today. My brain is on stun. I cannot read today. I'm just totally misreading words entirely over and over. There was Claire, the one who'd appeared for just a second right before this cruel game began. Claire, so you were the game master after all? I don't understand. Why? Claire didn't answer. In fact, it looked as though she hadn't even heard. Her eyes were blank and you couldn't tell what she was looking at. In fact, she was even forgetting to blink. She looked just like a doll. Then another beam of light lit up this side of the stage. Under that light stood Burncastle. At the same time, though there appeared to be no one in the audience, a large applause rang out. Hee 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 hee. Burncastle raised her right hand in response to the applause. She kept doing so until the applause died down. Burncastle, so you were the master of this game after all. Leon, how many times do I have to tell you that I'm not the game master? Then are you saying it's Claire? That's impossible. Yep, that is of course impossible. After all, Claire is dead. We were just conducting her funeral. Did you forget that? Then just who is standing there? A corpse. It's not taxidermy. So of course, she still has her insides. She's hiding it under a beautiful exterior, but she's actually packed full of guts. When Burncastle raised her right hand, a light fell on it and a black shining sight appeared there. It was a cold, merciless, and cruel object, like something a classic Grim Reaper might hold. What are you planning to do? When they're alive, you can enjoy watching them struggle. When they're dead, you can enjoy tearing out their guts. Tales are things you get to enjoy twice. That's what it means to be a witch of theater going. Burncastle pressed the blade of her Reaper scythe against Claire's stomach, then slowly slid it across. Then along the line she traced, Claire's dress was sliced open. It was now clear that the scythe she held was not a fake one for theatrical use. I can't read, holy fuck. And it was clear just what she planned to do next that made her cruel smile so fitting. Angie, can you hear me? I hear you. You tear me to bits. Make me read. What's next? Are you showing me this worst possible tale to hurt me even more? Is this fun for you? Yeah, I'll bet it is. I had a grand old time with it too. Did you think that this would be enough to break me? You think I'll sit around crying any longer because of this disgusting game of yours? Both you and Leon seem to have the wrong idea. I'm not the game master. This tale is not one that I created. Then that woman in the dress is the game master? No, she isn't. That can't be. Then who's the game master? Who created this disgusting tale? You still don't understand? What don't we understand? Angie, you gambled everything on a faint chance of a miracle, throwing yourself forward. Out of respect for your courage, I invited you to the 2-day world of October 4th and 5th, 1986. What was your goal? To take your family back. That would be a very difficult thing, and without the blessing of a miracle, a thoroughly impossible one. You were prepared for that, weren't you? Yes, I'm prepared, and I still haven't given up on Oni-chan, Mom, and Dad. Whether you give up or not is your choice. That's your own game after all. I won't support you, and I won't interfere either. I've already enjoyed my fill of the games that use you as a piece, so I have no need for you any longer. Well, that's relief. Then why am I here? Didn't you invite me? Yes, that's right. I invited you here, to thank you for entertaining me for a while as my piece. To thank me? So this is how witches show gratitude. Yeah, it's been a real blast, you sick monster. How dare you do this to my parents, putting them in this sick game. Angie, you made a wish hoping that you could take your family back. However, you made one more wish, remember? No, I don't. You wanted to know what happened on that day. What happened on Rokenjima on October 4th and 5th, 1986? Didn't Angie leave on her journey with Amakusa because she longed to answer that question? That's right. So what's your point? You don't mean... Leon realized what Burncastle was getting at, and because of that, Leon was too shocked to speak. The game master isn't Burncastle or Claire, then who is it? It has to be Ava, right? That's the wrong question. There's no game master. That could only mean one thing. Angie, you still don't understand. What? This is the truth. The inside of the cat box of October 4th and 5th, 1986. After this, Ava survives the explosion by escaping to Kuwadorian. And since she never spoke of the inside of the cat box, no matter how much you wanted to know, that truth was shut within the cat box for all eternity. What are you saying? Only Ava returned alive. Even though the police claimed it was an accident, the public didn't believe it. Then she took over her husband's company, and the harder she worked to make it more and more successful, the more enemies she made. In the eyes of the public, she became viewed as the queen of a vast criminal plot. I'm sure she wanted to tell people what really happened, the truth that no one would ever believe without proof. Bit by bit, Ava's heart began to snap. You rejected Ava just like everyone else, so she rejected you in turn. You were the last two members of your family, and your relationship was completely strained. Each time she compared you with her beloved son, she grew more and more twisted and broken. So it is basically saying what I was saying, that this is kind of like another way that the third episode ended. Although I don't know if that's supposed to imply that in the third episode they all found the gold together, or if it's supposed to imply that this ending is very similar, but that Ava was the one that found it. Hard to say. I'm not really sure how to understand that or to parse that, but... Then a strange message bottle was picked up and became a topic of conversation. It contained a bizarre story, one which told of a mysterious serial murder related to the gold on Rokenjima. Everyone rejected the explosion accident theory and started to think up conspiracy theories. Some of those theories named Ava as the culprit, which tormented her even more. But Ava used even that to create the cat box, and until the moment of her death she protected it. She protected the lock that held the cat box shut. So no human would ever reach the truth inside the cat box, not unless the witches who crossed the Sea of Fragments opened the lock. This is the truth. You're lying. You're lying. Lying! If this was actually true, you'd be able to say it using the red truth. But you can't. Of course you can't. Angie, calm down. Angie writhed with such strength that the chains on her arms and legs looked like they might snap. All over her body, a red gooey liquid started to seep out. It was as though cracks had opened up all over her body and was leaking out of all of them. And her blood was like, yeah, skip that. What's that? You want me to announce it clearly with the red truth? Then I'll do that just for you. This is all truth. No! Angie's scream covered up burnt red truth. Stupid kid. If only you hadn't made me say that, I could have shut it up inside the cat box. But you did tell me to, right? I knew you would, of course. And I so wanted to see you scream like that. What a lovely expression. One that'll keep me laughing for about 100 years. Go back to being scrap meat. Mom, Dad, it's a lie, right? Lies. Lies. Angie? As Angie held her head and screamed, the blood dripping from her finally grew so thick that it started scattering all over the place. Then bit by bit her body began to melt. No, to fall apart. Then bits of her began to pile up on the chair until she was nothing but a pile of guts and scraps. Yeah, I think I figured that from like in episode 6 when they were talking about Hachijo and the whole the fact that these had been like theories and that Hachijo had authored a bunch of them. I'd figured that... Okay, stop yelling, Burncastle. I'm fucking talking. I'd figured to some degree that, you know, what we'd been shown were, like, narratives that weren't necessarily real. Interesting. I'll have to think about this. Is the truth really such a precious thing? How absurd. How foolish. Why can't humans control their own truth? They stupidly search for the truth like that. Like that's all that matters, and when they finally find it and can't stand it, they turn themselves into scrap meat. Hey, are you watching? Claire? You wanted to hide this truth too, didn't you? For fun, you wrote several cat box tales and sealed them in message bottles like the end of... Okay, yeah, so this is the explanation of how it makes sense, because we had learned that a bunch of these message bottles had been shot out before the start of the game, and it was the whole talking point about how a future truth will override a previous. So they were done to basically obfuscate whatever happened. For fun, you wrote several cat box tales and sealed them in message bottles like the end of one of those mystery novels you admired. Then you threw them into the sea, to save those who would suffer if they knew the truth. You sealed everything in a cat box, and Ava provided the lock. And I've sliced that box open for you. All that effort you spent to hide it has gone to waste. I've exposed all the truth you hid with your death. Is that what you've been after? You did all of this just to insult Claire's death, and then you showed it to Angie to make her suffer? You really were an evil witch after all. I've been a witch this whole time. A traveler whose only goal is to escape boredom. Care for it and love it while it's alive, then eat the guts when it's dead. That's how witches live. What you have done is unforgivable to me. You've hurt Angie and humiliated Claire, the person I would become in another world. I cannot forgive you for this. Leon, despite all this, you are what Claire longs to be. Even after death, she longs for it. From the moment that Claire was thrown from that cliff, her fate was already sealed. I'm sure it gave her a little bit of salvation to know that another her lives in happiness in another world. That's right, I'm her salvation, so I must live to the fullest, live life for the both of us. Leon, let me show you just a bit more of this tale of the truth. I'm not interested. Don't worry, it'll be very interesting. After the duel between Ava and Kiri, the guest house is wrapped in silence. Let me invite you to the parlor at that point in time. The parlor? The one in the mansion? Burncastle snapped her fingers, and the scene in the mansion's parlor unfolded before them. In the cruel tale they had just been shown, the parlor hadn't been particularly important. Jessica had been summoned to the parlor, but she was then immediately led to the dining hall and killed there. So there had been nothing in the parlor. And right now, there was nothing in the parlor that appeared before Leon. Just what's supposed to be here. Hee hee hee. As you can see, there's nothing here. But watch. I'm about to show you something interesting. If you call it interesting, that's a sure sign that it isn't. Go on, take a look. It's right there. Right in that corner. Burncastle was pointing, and nothing more than a corner of the room. There was nothing there. She had told Leon to look there, so Leon was expecting something terrible to be there. But there really was nothing there at all. Huh? That's right, there's nothing there. At least not in this world. But what if we peek into the next fragment over? Ooh. On the white blank wall, bit by bit, a splash of blood seeped into view. Is that supposed to be them? Oh. So it didn't matter. Then right there a corpse appeared. But that couldn't be. This is... me? It was Leon lying dead against the wall. Ushirimi and Leon's corpse lay there exposed. What's going on here? Why am I here? This is supposed to be Claire's world, not mine. Claire and I can't exist at the same time, right? Yes, that's right. That's because I just switched worlds. Switched fragments. Switched to your world, that is. I don't understand. It's very simple. They both end the same way. I don't get it. Why would I be dead here? In your world, on October 4th, 1986, Beatrice's funeral was held just before the family conference. Yes, I know that, and for me that happened today a short while ago. From that time until late that night, do you know what happened? Nothing at all. The cousins are all going to play together and the whole family will have dinner together. Then that night the family conference took place. You were going to succeed the headship when you turned 20, right? Was the entire family satisfied with that, I wonder? I don't know if they're satisfied, but the decision has been made. The head made it himself. Looks like even you don't believe they were satisfied. That's it right there. Kinzo adored you more than anything and tried to make an exception and set you up as the next head. Of course his children wouldn't have been happy with that. The siblings objected to having Leon succeed the headship. Even Kraus joined in, saying that Leon was still too young. Then on the night of the family conference, Kenzo tried proposing a difficult riddle. You don't mean...
The epitaph.
That's right, the riddle of the epitaph. As you can tell by the mechanism set to the chapel, Kenzo thought up the epitaph trick near the beginning when the mansion on Rokenjin was being built. Yep, I said that earlier. He had the romantic idea of someday using it as a test to select the next head. So in this world, it was to select the next head, where, well, I guess it kind of served that purpose in the other world too, but it was more so to see if Beatrice was still alive, but it was like a double whammy, I guess. Kenzo decided to present that riddle at the family conference. Did he plan to give the position of successor to the person who solved it? Or did he promise to reconsider Leon's position as the head if it was solved? Either way, Kenzo was confident. He was confident that no one would be able to solve this tough riddle with which he created himself. After that, everything happened exactly like the truth you just saw. The siblings solved it right away, and there was a clash over the pile of gold. Then Kiri and Rudolph carried out the late-night murders to prevent any chance of the crime being discovered the next morning and an outcry being raised. They called the kids out from the cousins' room one by one, then killed them. And the first of the cousins, or as the first of the cousins, you were the first to be called out. Then Kiri shot you dead right here in the parlor. No, that's not quite right. You're the Ushirimiya Leon from the early evening of October 4th, 1986. So I'll say it this way. Tonight, Kiri will shoot you dead in the parlor. That's insane. That's right. Probability. Just like the miracle called Leon only has a slight probability of arising from Claire, Aunt Kiri must only commit murder with a tiny probability close to zero. Aren't you the witch who specializes in finding extremely improbable worlds? That is correct. I had to find one fragment out of 2,578,917 in order to discover the miracle that is you. However, it was very, very easy to find this result for your world. After all, probability isn't a factor. I'm a witch who can find any miracle no matter how unlikely it is. But I can't find things that don't exist. If the Witch of Certainty really guarantees that something is certain, even I can't win against her. But... then... With a 2,578,916 out of 2,578,917 probability, you live in the world as Claire, are toyed with by an inescapable fate, and meet with a tragic end. And with a 1 out of 2,578,917 probability, you live as Ushirimiya Leon, and are killed by Kiri tonight. In other words, your fate. No. The fate the two of you share traps you in an inescapable dead end. A hell of fate with 2,578,917 out of 2,500,000, or 2,578,917. I think I read that wrong the whole time. I don't know. My brain is mush at this point. Probability, to put it another way, it's a certain fate with absolutely no chance for a miracle. Too bad for you, Claire. No, Beatrice. A bright light seemed to turn the world white, then the next moment they were back in the theater. As Claire stood absolutely still on the stage, the tip of Berncastle's Reaper scythe traced a line along her stomach, across her stomach. A red line was drawn across her white skin, exposed now that the dress had been cut and black blood began to seep out. Beatrice, trapped in that inescapable, certain, locked-away pair of days, you became a witch who could give birth to endless possibilities within that 2-day cat box. In exchange, it was absolutely certain that you would not be saved or rewarded. However, you had a dream. You dreamed of Ushirimiya Leon. You consoled yourself with the thought of a miracle world where you could have lived in happiness and would never have become Claire. I really had to work hard to find Leon, as Beato dreamed Leon's existence was a true miracle, and at the end of your funeral, I wanted to show you that even with that miracle, you couldn't have escaped this tragedy. Faced with a little bit of sky that she could see through the bars of the jail that imprisoned her, the witch called Beatrice dreamed of a world where she might have been happy. However, the sky beyond the bars was also a part of a larger jail. The more I hear, the less I understand about you. Why would you do something like this? I lost a game to Beato, so I wanted to get back at her. Yeah, now I feel a lot better about losing that game. Hey Beato, are you watching? Can you see this? And do you remember? Remember when I promised you that there would be absolutely no miracles? So, Leon, allow me to return you to your world right before Beato's eyes. It looks like the witches of theater going are all sick and tired of those happy family get-together scenes, so I'll send you to the moment just before Kiri shoots you. Then I'll make sure Beato witnesses that moment. She's still laughing. Die, Puke Spittle Leon. The last hope of Puke Spittle Beato. Berncastle raised her Reaper scythe, swung it down with gusto, and plunged it deep into Claire's stomach. Did you think you'd get an easy death? But humiliating a corpse and tearing out its guts is what I'm best at. Heartlessly, ruthlessly, brutally, she swung the enormous blade buried in Claire's stomach back up towards the heavens. Along a vertical line from Claire's stomach to her chest, the blade cut deeply, slicing Claire open. Her red-black innards jutted out, and then like a dam breaking, they burst out of her stomach, covering the world with dark red entrails. Steal the Italians' gold, you say? You coward, Ishirimiya, and you call yourself a soldier of the Empire. But, Father? I do love and respect you, Father. But your feelings are something I am... Why? Why did you save me? Why didn't you let me die? Because of that terrible injury, I've been forced to live in a body like this. I never wanted to live in a body like this. This body isn't even capable of love. What's the point in living like that? What injury do they mean? This isn't a human's life. It's like being furniture. That's right, I'm furniture. Furniture! Why? Why did you let me die back then? Is this Genji lore? What are we getting at here? Okay, this is very long. I'm not pressing anything, by the way, this whole time. Huh? When I came to, I was in the parlor of the mansion. When did I get here? I heard a sound behind me, then slowly turned around. And there. Sorry, please don't take this personally. Huh? I could see down the frigid barrel of the gun Aunt Kiri was pointing. Then, slowly, she pulled the trigger. I could feel a razor-sharp wind pass through my body like a knife slicing through butter. Prepared for death and hoping to see my fate until the end, I slowly opened my eyes. What? The world had been cut in two. Kiri was frozen in place like a statue, still pointing her gun with a cold smile on her face. And had been cut in half at an angle, the top part of her slowly sliding off to the side. Will? No, that wasn't quite right. That wasn't right at all. It wasn't just Kiri. The whole world had been sliced in half at an angle and was slowly sliding off to one side. Fissures seemed to appear across the world, and before I had any time to process it, the world shattered. The only time we saw that animation was either Delana or Will. Oh, okay. Well, hello, my goat. Welcome back. I will expose the truth. Get it? Huh? You! When you own a cat, you tend to pick up their habits. Oh, because he has his cat Diana. That's kind of cute. He pointed to Burn Castle. Oh my god, because he talked about tearing up furniture. Or curtains or something. I don't know. He talked something about that. That's kind of funny. I'm sure there's some tie in here that I'm being too slow to understand. He pointed to Burn Castle with the tip of the pitch-black sword that had sliced the world, glaring at her. Hehehe. What's this? Are you saying that you came back here on a whim? There was no way you'd end things on a happy note. Do you really hate Beatrice so much? You think I'd let her win and get away? I have to pay her back in full for the humiliation she caused me. When I hold a grudge, I don't forget about it for 100 years. You're a gloomy person. Please, you mustn't ignore my heart. Are you okay, Leon? Hey, what's wrong? Leon had suddenly doubled over, groaning. My chest hurts. It's... Will roughly grabbed the hand that was pressed against Leon's chest and tore it away. Blood was seeping out of the place that Leon's hand had been. It was the place that the bullet wound would have entered if Kiri had shot Leon. Hehehe. Leon's body is already in the process of accepting its fate. Leon, hang in there. Damn these chains. When Will tried to pick Leon up, he finally noticed the chains attached to each wrist and ankle. What's this? Are you trying to take that kid and escape? I won't let you. Leon needs to cough up blood, despairing at the fact that there is no hope in any of the many worlds. We're all here to watch Leon die in agony and despair. Leon isn't a show. Will swung his pitch-black sword and destroyed the chains binding Leon. Excuse me. The chains and shackles shattered into little bits like glass, then vanished. You intended to get in the way of my fun, or you intend. You aren't God. All you can do is sneer at fate. Leon's fate is decided by Leon. You can't use a human's fate like a toy. You've got guts saying that to the Great Burn Castle, Witch of the Senate. I have no more use for you either, get it? You've shown that Beato's fantasy is a mystery and cut it to pieces. You fulfilled your role. I would have let you be if only you'd just left quietly. Now that you've strolled on back here, you can hardly complain when I make you my plaything, can you? Come to me, my sweet little kitties. Scratch them up and tear off their skin. Peel them like grapes. Ooh. Burn Castle clapped her hands twice. Countless pairs of glaring jewels appeared all around Will and Leon, Jesus. They were very clearly, oh my god, someone shoot me in the fucking head. They were clearly cat's eyes, but their breathing sounded far more terrifying than any cat. Wow. Well, I'll handle this. Trimming kitty nails is nothing new to me. The number of jewels surrounding them already reached into the thousands. Will pointed his sword in one direction after another, warding off the surrounding cats. Get a grip, Leon. You haven't been shot. Don't accept that you've been. No, don't accept that you're going to be shot. Leon tried to fight an incredible tearing pain. No, it was a fight against the promised future that Burn Castle had shown. However, the gouging stake representing that future, which the Witch of Miracles had guaranteed would hold absolutely no miracle, was firm and merciless. Holy fuck, is that a dumb sentence structure? However, the gouging stake representing that future, which the Witch of Miracles had guaranteed would hold absolutely no miracle, was firm and merciless. Bit by bit, and yet unceasingly, it continued to pierce Leon's chest. Listen up. I'm gonna break through their perimeter for just a second. When I do, you need to run away with all you need to run with all you've got. Don't change directions, keep running. It doesn't matter where to. Just make sure you get far away from this place and keep on running no matter what happens.
I'll try. To the best of my ability. If I can't do it, please forgive me.
If you can't, never say die. I won't let you. Claire won't let you. Did you forget that you're Claire's 1 in 2,578,917 chance? If you give up, you're betraying all the other yous in countless worlds. So don't lose heart. Keep on struggling and struggling. Don't look for a miracle. Be one. Be a miracle. You're gonna reach a happy future. You can't give up and you can't complain. Just you try complaining one more time. I'll be the one pinching your ass.
Okay.
How very confident you are, telling this kid to be a miracle when you stand before the Witch of Miracles. Miracles are no more than fantasy. Grovel in this world that has been convicted as a mystery and die horribly like a worm. The witches of theater going are looking forward to watching it. You call that a mystery? You think I'd ever accept a mystery without heart? Let the cat who wants to be made into a shamisen strike first. What a pain. Let's have all of you at once. I'm Willard H. Wright, SSVD's Chief Inquisitor. This will be the final time I draw my sword. Trash 'em, kiddies. Wow, a new animation. At once, all of the cat's eyes opened wide, undulated and spun in a spiral, then swallowed Will up. But Will and Leon were not swallowed up. As though a balloon had expanded around the two of them and burst, the cats that had flown in at them from all directions were now being launched away. Oh, not bad. I don't give a damn about your kitties. It's just the mama cat I care about. Burn Castle, Witch of Miracles, it's about time someone trimmed your claws. Another flash of the black blade spun in a black tornado and scattered the cats once more. Leon, realizing that this was the opening Will had planned to make, ran all out, hand on chest.
Well, I'm running.
Diana has a weak stomach. Make sure you only give her warm milk.
Huh?
Before Leon could ask Will to repeat what he had said, Will had already leapt onto the stage and was now confronting Burn Castle. It was like the climax of a show. Loud cheers erupted from the pitch-black audience seating. On either side of Claire, who lay with her insides exposed, stood Will with his pitch-black sword, and Berncastle with a scythe that could harvest miracles from fate. Kiri and Rudolph are the culprits, and they massacred the people on the island. They called Leon out to the parlor, then shot Leon to death. Sorry, but the concept of mysteries rejects this truth of yours. This is all fantasy. Fantasy? You're calling it that to try and let Leon escape fate? By all means, try. Rule number 1, it is forbidden to have a crime without all clues presented. Will's black sword had cut through Berncastle's body at a diagonal angle. However, it had no effect, like cutting the reflection of the moon on the water. I guess the whole counter to this would be the fact that it had no effect proves it's not mystery. Because if the game doesn't operate under mystery rules, it would do nothing. What's this? What do you mean by clues? I won't accept your mystery with Kiri and Rudolph as the culprits. You won't find clues showing that they're the culprits no matter which game you look at. Of course you won't. Even if they did exist at one point, the whole island blew up. Which means there aren't any clues. And that means this is no mystery. It's fantasy. Huh? It is impossible for an unprovable truth to become truth in the human world. In other words, even the truth cannot leave the cat box. Are you trying to shut the truth inside the cat box? Is that how the mystery genre is supposed to fight? With a laugh like the howl of a wild animal, Berncastle carelessly tossed her scythe aside. You're not even worth fighting. Get over here, puke spittle. Try and cut me all you like. I'll listen to all you've got to say. The 20 wedges will pierce every part of your heartless mystery. Here it comes. And when you realize that you can't defeat me with those 20 wedges, you know what'll happen next, right? Come on. I'll play with you and these 20 wedges of yours. Berncastle CG? Wow. Ooh. Interesting. Casting doubt on whether or not... I guess I understand what they're trying to get at there. Although this is like something I'd have to think about. I don't think this is very clear cut. Interesting that it doesn't show character deaths there. It usually would show people that were dead. Wow, 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 wow! Well, I am glad that we didn't do this at the last stream. I think I'm coming down with something. I don't know what is up with my immune system lately, man. I'm like a tissue paper immune system. Ooh. I also can't believe that Featherine is evil, but we'll see. Yeah, that's kind of the vibe I got. I mean, fuck, he even has like the same-ish kind of hair color. Trying to ignore an incredibly painful chest, Leon kept running and running without stopping. Is Leon gonna run into Featherine? I dashed out of the theater of the Witches of Theater going, then ran through an incomprehensible world of blackness. Before I knew it, I was running through a place that looked like a sea of stars. Or maybe the bottom of the ocean with stars scattered around. If I get careless for a second, I'll probably trip. No, if I get careless, I won't be able to tell whether I'm running or just making running motions as I freefall. Endlessly sinking deeper into the ocean of stars. I just kept on running without any goal or target. I mustn't stop moving. I mustn't fall here. If I fall, I'll crush the hope of the me's in countless worlds. The happy world that the Beatrices dreamed of. Holy fuck, I'm gonna shoot myself in the head, I can't read. I'm their last hope. The only one who can reach that world. Even though I understand this, the witch who controls miracles had declared there will be no miracles. Hi, welcome. And the truth that she thrust in front of me with those words gouges cruelly into my chest. Sorry, Will. My body can't. Leon finally succumbed to the fierce pain and fate and fell over. Leon's body was held roughly from behind and lifted up. Will, you're okay? No, not really. Don't give up. Didn't I tell you I'd pinch your ass? I'm sorry. I'm really sorry, but that day, that place is where I was fated to be killed. That's right. All humans are fated to die in the end. Does that mean their lives are meaningless? Of course not. What a person's life means, what it's worth, what it is, these are things a person decides for themselves. So what if a fate's been forced upon you? Don't accept it. Create your own world for yourself. Will, your left arm. Alright, must have forgotten it. It'd be a pain to go back and get it now. There were rips all over Will's body. Also, his left arm had been brutally torn off from the elbow, his clothes were in tatters, and he looked like a blood-stained scarecrow. Then Leon noticed. Though this place had once felt like a sea filled with stars, both above and below them, those stars had now gathered together and were surrounding them. That huge number of stars grouped in even-numbered clusters all glared at the two of them. Will was holding Leon with one arm. He couldn't take his sword out. However, he didn't let go. He was determined to let Leon escape from here, and to lead Leon towards the happy tale that the Beatrice had dreamed of. Though the cats, whose eyes glowed in the empty darkness, the queen of cats who permitted no miracles appeared. Willard, put Leon down. If you do, I'll let you go. Well, Leon, aka Lion, is kind of like a big cat. So, man up. Go file a protest with the Great Court. You can put it up for debate. Will, please. I won't leave you behind. Let me tell you why I quit SSVD. Come to think of it, even I don't know that. Why'd you do it? Because I got fed up with all those damn sob story mysteries. We're gonna survive and make a happy ending. I'm gonna show her. Beatrice died in despair, thinking that there were only bad endings, and I'm gonna show her that a happy ending can exist. So I'll never put you down. Will. You can take the rest of my left arm, cats. I'll give you my legs too if you want them. But I'm not letting go of Leon here. I'm gonna let Leon escape your bad ending if I have to crawl out of here. Are you okay with this, Leon? Will's planning to die protecting you. You don't want that, right? Go ahead and tell him to leave you be and save himself. Will. Yeah. Let's do this! Please don't leave me here. I'll survive for certain. And so will you. That's the spirit. As he said this, Will held Leon tight. There you have it. We'll keep struggling on, Burnt Castle. We won't give up on the chance of a miracle. I'm amazed you can say that when the Witch of Miracles has promised you that there will be absolutely no miracles. So long, you two. Go collect dust in the depths of oblivion, unable to even to die and disappear. I don't know, I kinda like Skyrim more. Come, my kitties. I won't tell you to kill them. There are no more scenes for these two pieces. Put them away. Yumi Pico. Hands up, cinema. Where's the cinema emote? I have it somewhere here. A billion, a trillion, a quadrillion cats all bared their fangs. In the starry sky of cat eyes, countless flesh-colored mouths opened, exposing countless teeth. The world was wrapped in flesh and blood and fangs. Wow. Okay, it's question mark time. That was something. Yeah, let's see what's up with the question mark. I don't think we're doing the theory tonight. I hate to cuck anybody, but it's already getting kind of late. If I didn't have to fuck with my audio for so long. But we'll probably do the theory stream prior to thing, and I'll just think a little bit off stream and come with everything so that we don't have to fuck around. And then we'll probably just start episode 8 after. Two white pieces were set on the chessboard. The countless black pieces surrounding them were packed tightly together, not even placed on the squares anymore. Then Burncastle tipped the two white pieces over and took them off the board. May I end it there? Come on, Featherine, my goat, you gotta do something here. Yes. Your reading truly does fit my ears well, my Miko. As you wish, I've scraped out even the inner parts of the guts. Was this enough to check your answers with? Yes. I'm very satisfied. Using the answer you have revealed as a key, I will go back through all the tales so far, opening the locked rooms like treasure boxes one by one. It's fun finding the key, and it's even more fun to stick it into all the locks. You've done well, my Miko. From this point on, I would like to enjoy my thoughts alone. This has been enough. The Witch of Theater Going sat back in her rocking chair, a satisfied smile on her face as though enjoying a pleasant aftertaste. There was no need for a game board anymore. She just had to go back in her mind through the whole set of tales to check whether her theory was right or not. It seemed to leave her pleasantly drunk, even better than the most expensive wine. Are you done with me now? You've done well, my Miko. I absolve you of your duty. I will return to my slumber. I'd like to enjoy this pleasant dream for a few more centuries. And when I grow tired of that, you will find yet another tale to keep me entertained. For those centuries, which will pass in the blink of an eye, I grant you your freedom. Splendidly done, Burncastle. My darling, darling Miko. That's not my concern. Just shrivel up and die, won't you? So long for the rest of time. You call a few mere centuries for the rest of time? Featherline's consciousness slowly faded away. Not my goat, no! As the owner of the study's slumber grew deeper, the lights about the room slowly darkened. Good night forever, Aurora. You don't need this game board anymore. I'll take it. Burncastle reached out towards Beato's game board, which lay on the table in front of Featherline's rocking chair, and tapped it twice. The game board and the pieces flew into the air, folded up and put themselves away, then landed on Burncastle's outstretched right hand. I still haven't had a chance to do any real game mastering. I just did Beato's funeral. That and tearing out the guts. I still haven't done anything. Burncastle's smile twisted evilly. Then, the game board floated up once again, and a world unfolded itself above Burncastle's palm. Oh, we're back here. It's been a while since I've seen this fucking... Now, pieces of Beato's game, I'm gonna have you spin a truly brutal tale to truly entertain me. Tremble with fear of the absolute fate you have been promised. By the name of Burncastle, Witch of Miracles, and as the final game master of Beato's game, I proclaim it. Though just saying it would be boring, maybe I should follow Beato's rules and say it in red. Good idea, I think. It looks like there might still be some witches with naive dreams. Ah, Lambda, so you're here. Of course you are. You're always wherever I am. Go on and say it. You tell those naive dreamers. Yes, I will. As the Witch of Miracles and as the final game master, I proclaim the start of the final game, and I make you this promise. I will not give this game a happy ending. Okay, damn, chill. That was kind of mean. Is that it? No, it's not. Wow. We're back in the chap. Sob, sob, sob. A single girl was crying in a desolate, quiet chapel. She was a small girl, only 6 years old. Angie. The girl who would, for 12 years starting now, lament the fact that she wasn't on the island on October 4th and 5th, 1986. Then, a man appeared. Will? The man noticed the girl, walked up to her quietly, trying not to scare her, and put an arm gently around her shoulder. Oni-chan. Ooh, no, it's Battler. I've been looking for you, Angie. The girl jumped into her big brother's chest and started crying again. What's wrong? Why are you so sad? Today a kid in class bullied me. He said the people on TV were saying Mom had ties to bad people. So he said that Mom and Dad were the culprits and that they probably killed everyone. I asked Auntie Ava, hoping she'd say it wasn't true, but she didn't say anything. Mom and Dad aren't bad people, are they? Are they? Poor thing. Everyone says whatever they please about what might have happened on the island that day. I read that wrong, but I don't give a fuck anymore. Sit over here. I'm writing my own story, okay? Okay. When the man pointed to the floor, a group of gold butterflies gathered there and created a chair. The girl obediently sat down on it. You know, don't you, Oni-chan? You know that Mom and Dad aren't bad people, right? Yeah, of course I know that. I know that none of them were bad people. Then tell me, what happened that day? What happened on Rokenjima? Okay, I'll tell you. This is what happened on that day. Is it a scary story? Come now. Is it a sad story? Of course not. Then what kind of story is it? You can decide that for yourself when you hear it. It isn't a painful story at all, so listen up. Okay, Battler. On that day, we all went to Rokenjima. There were a lot of us. It was an important day, the day of the family conference. Where should I start? This is the final game made just for Angie. Aww. Listen, Angie. This is what happened on Rokenjima on that day. It isn't sad or painful at all. Why does this make me want to cry for no good reason? Jesus. You know, episode 7 was pretty straightforward for the most part. I feel like I understand most of it, and then that whole tea party was pretty wacko, although I do think I get it for the most part, I want to say. I definitely need to think on it a little bit. You know, I haven't really thought about how I would rate the episodes in reference to each other, but I would say, the problem is I have like two things that are kind of, look, it says Kino right there, it has to be. There's two things in episode 7 that are like counterbalancing for me. I liked episode 7 a lot. The only thing that holds it back, and it's not actually a fault of the episode, is just that I feel like it didn't, like most of the episode was like an answer key, or like an answer check. I feel like it wasn't really presenting new info, which, I mean, it's an answer arc. I'm not expecting it to, you know, present like new novel info too much. But I think it's probably, fuck, I don't know. I think I have to know, this can sound really, weird, I guess, but, I feel like I'm not going to be able to properly rate everything until I've seen the ending, because I feel like I want to know how everything fits together as a whole. I would say right now, prospectively, ooh, new ending. This is interesting. I don't know if I'll be able to, like, even view shit. Oh! Sorry, I'm just gonna fucking start executing people. I just want to see if anything happens. I feel like I need to know how everything plays out to see how everything fits together, but prospectively, to put something as my favorite, I would probably say that episode 3 is still my favorite right now. I did like that episode a lot, though. Watch fucking you be the only one I can kill. Wow, I can't kill anybody. We're still gonna try, but I got excited for a second. Beatrice Castiglione just ends in Italian, that's it. Now I can see the menu opening without any spoilers. Okay, we'll let it play through, because I think it plays the, oh, this will show their servant attire now. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna let me kill any of them. What tips came out of episode 7 here? Just the SSVD. I don't even want to read this. SS Van Dyne. Oh, I didn't know it would stand for Van Dyne. That's kind of interesting. Okay, it's actually not that short. Or not that long. I'll read it. One of the repentance enforcement agencies supervised by the Great Court of Heaven. Its area of jurisdiction is the 8th District. The SSVD has a long history, even by the standard of the other enforcement agencies, and is known for its strictness and fundamentalism. Many say that the agency is at odds with the times, but it is also highly praised by some for still continuing to preserve the basis of the spirit of the law. It is traditional for the agency's chief inquisitor to inherit the name right. Wow, that was a very helpful tip to get there. And we'll leave that for now. Okay, well, let's let this ride through. We'll see what happens. I think episode 3 is my favorite of the answer arcs for sure. Or sorry, the question arcs, not answers. For the answer arcs, I still don't know. It's tough to think. I think this is the one we've already seen. I don't know if clicking will make me... Because I think that's just the OP one. But I don't know if clicking like resets it. But we'll see. For the answer arcs, so far I'm not sure. I feel like I hold 5 and 6 about the same. Because they kind of feel like they're like side A and side B a little bit. So, the problem is, it's like I don't want to put 7 below it because 7 wasn't bad. It's just like I was saying, it's like it didn't really. I don't know if this is. I don't remember seeing this one, so we'll let this rock. If not, you can tell me to skip this, but. Dude, I don't want to be like... Every time I hear this person singing, I don't know if this is the same one, it just sounds like the Steins Gate OP singer. Maybe I'm just smoking total cock, but... Do not show Kinzo near young girls, please. Do not. When you say it is it, were you saying it is the right one or it is the Steins Gate singer? Because I hope it is to both. Rosa, my goat. Okay, thank God, bro. I'm telling you, I knew I was having like a tickle of my brain. I was like, this sounds like the Steins Gate OP singer. The one thing I will say about this, and maybe this is me being a little bit too idealistic, I'm very hyped for episode 8. And, because I feel like when I was playing Higurashi, and again, I'm trying to remember a few years ago now, when I played Higurashi, I felt like through episodes 7 and 8, it wasn't so much, how do I word this? It wasn't so much like I was, not that I wasn't excited for the ending, but it was like, you knew what was happening. So it felt like episode 8 was kind of just allowing everything that you knew to play out. But I feel like the game might still have a few things up its sleeve for me in this. I feel like there's still a little bit more that could happen. I feel like there's more like off-the-board elements, to use game terminology, that could come into this. So I'm very, very, very much looking forward to episode 8. Oh my god. Oh, that's the OP. I was like, why the fuck did that open a video? The only thing that sucks is because I had to reinstall this game when I reinstalled Windows. I don't have all the songs. Because I think my favorite song so far, I don't know, I'd have to think. I'd have to go through the whole thing. But the one song I know I really liked was the song that played at the end of episode 6, I think it was. It was like the Suspicious Scent like remix, but it had vocals in it. Fuck, that's a good one. But I don't have it here. I feel like there's two songs here that I think, to me, I think it was called Suspicious Scent. It was in like all caps. I just don't have it here. After I reinstalled, I only have songs that appeared during episode 7 because for some reason it didn't carry over. Because I just unlocked the other ones. I didn't like fucking speed through the other ones. There's like two songs I think of when I think of this game. Is these two. But mainly this one. I don't know why, but this is like... I always say whenever I hear this song, I just think of Kinzo. Because maybe I'm misremembering, but I think this is the very first song that plays in the game. When it's like Nanjo and Kinzo. Fuck, it's been like 2 months. This one's kind of a similar vibe. But not so much. Yeah, no. This one definitely is not... doesn't have the same... This to me sounds like a Higurashi song. I don't know if it was. There's a few songs in this game that when they've come up, they remind me of Higurashi. I mean, like like, you know, same people and everything. But some of these sound so much like Higurashi tracks. Like this one in particular reminds me of it. There's another one, but I don't know if it's in here. Not here, obviously. This one a little bit gives me the same vibe as Higurashi. There was one that I remember. I do like this song a lot too. There's something just like goofy about it that I like. Oh wait, no, I think it's this song in the piano version is my favorite song. But I don't think I have it because I think it was from I think it was in episode 6. Maybe I'm wrong. I might not be able to find it. Oh no, it might be this. Oh, I love this. I love piano music. I'm so biased towards piano music. Oh, this one was good too, I think, if I remember. I think this is the one that sounds kind of like EDM-ish. This game does have a very good OST. Yeah, I like this one. This is what I imagine playing in like a scene where like a detective in like a mystery novel starts to like unveil everything. It's like, oh my god, wait, it clicks. Is this the same song, just... I don't know. Remember... Oh yeah, this song, yeah. Sorry, I'm just going through songs here. I don't know what I'm doing, but... I keep fucking clicking that one, forget... Stop clicking it, dumbass! Oh... Circus fucking music. Oh, I like this one a lot too. This one makes me feel sad, but I like it. Okay, well, I don't want to keep too long. Episode 8 theory stream, or episode 7 theory stream. Last theory stream, because we're not going to get an opportunity to do another one, obviously, after episode 8. Episode 8, post-episode 8 theory stream. What just happened? But next stream, we'll do the theory. I don't think it'll take too long. I think it's mainly going to be episode 4. But we'll go through those. We'll try and figure some stuff out. And assuming it's a relatively short enough theory, like under 2 hours, which I think is probably about makes sense, episode 8 will be also starting. Can't give a guarantee on when that'll be. My prospective date will be Monday. But, we will see. Because I have some projects I have to catch up on. We'll see. It could actually be one of the days this week. It'll either be that I start episode 8, and then there's like a break for a few days until continuation. But when I start episode 8, especially because it's like the climax, I don't really want to like have a long time in between. I want to try and like bang it out. I don't want to say quickly, but I'd like to do it in hopefully consecutive streams, like in consecutive days. Regardless. I thank you guys for stopping by if you did. There was so many audio issues in between last stream and this, and even starting this, there was a whole 10-minute, 20-minute section that got deleted because my mic was fucked, and I don't know, so much shit going on. But we're approaching to the end of this game, and it's been a great experience, and I'll leave the sappy speech for whenever episode 8 is done. But thank you for stopping by for the day. Kind of a short stream by my standards. But next stream, Theory, and then potentially episode 8. Depends how long the Theory stream is, but we'll see. Probably. I'll say it in red that it'll be the Theory stream into the start of episode 8. But that's all. Looking forward. I will try to get this up on YouTube quickly. This shouldn't take too long to upload because the video file is not very big. But that's all. And Dutch. Hope you guys have a good night or day, wherever it is for you. And we're in the wind down now. But that's all. Night night.